Welcome to episode 100 of the Inside Bite. I'm your host, Tim Schafer. I'm here with a few people here. Rudy, Dave, and Joshua. They've all been on previous episodes, all coming together, just trying to do something a little special for 100. I mean, I'm really happy we're here. It's about
me too, man.
Close to 2 years? I don't know.
That sounds about right.
Well, would be 2 years, so
I want to say we started in the summer of 20.
No,
wasn't
August,
last year, right?
August was when we started.
Right towards the end. Yeah. Maybe 2021 August. Is that right?
Yeah.
I remember like it was yesterday. Like you guys asked me to come on and do the GameStop stuff, so I was like,
I do remember that.
We're already at 100 already. Like, all right.
Yeah. big grats to you boys, by the way.
The same thing again.
Appreciate it, man.
Like, because a lot of time has passed, and GameStop is a whole different beast almost now. And
yeah, they're doing a lot
I
of
would
changes.
love to talk about like everything that's happening now, because it feels like a whole different store when you walk into it now.
God, I haven't walked into GameStop in so long.
Just come visit my store. Come visit my store one day.
If I was close enough, I would come just for you, Josh. That's it. That's the only reason why.
Take a road trip, bring my camera.
I would love for you to talk more about GameStop, because I may or may not be in possession of some stocks that I would like to increase in value. May or may not, but it'd be real cool,
Not a monetary thing. He's just curious.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Actually, last we were talking, that was just starting. But it's still a thing to this day.
And I didn't jump off the train,
using it as a meme. Which
I made the worst mistake. I made the worst mistake and held on for far too long. And
just like the NFT thing, like
that was just part of you.
Correct. Actually, it is rising back up, though. I was looking at that.
Slowly but surely,
yeah. Anyway, enough about Stonk. Let's play Rudy's bringing back the spinner.
Yes, bring back the spinner. Last time, probably a year ago now or so? No, we played this game like a year ago. Basically, what it is there's this wheel that Dave and I made where it has a bunch of different video game genres on it. We spin the wheel, it lands, and then we basically just speak on a game that we think is a good game in that particular genre. Once we go, the next person goes, maybe something they think is better, and so on. Just some, it'll elicit some good conversations. We had some great conversations last time. So that's what I'm hoping for this time. So everyone understand the rules?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we went over a lot of it before we started. But I guess the audience, is there anything they need to know?
I'd say it's pretty straightforward, except listing every single genre. Do we want to do that?
No.
Every single genre.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
We'll keep it a surprise for the listeners.
Yeah. All right. So I guess, Josh, you're up first. Are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Classic music.
All right.
Puzzlers.
I mean, I don't know puzzler. I think the last puzzler I played was, was it Tetris Effect on the 360?
Oh, that was a cool game.
Gosh, like back when, they introduced the whole, when you fill up the board, it fills up with water and have fish swimming.
Oh yeah, that is actually really cool.
I heard that game is a trip in VR.
Well, it was back when 360 launched the 360 arcade. It was like one of the top games at the time. It's like Tetris, really? Here we are, 20 years later, and it's still at the top. Okay,
dude, God, the game is so cool.
Now Tetris Worlds on the original Xbox, because I got it with my original Xbox with Star Wars: The Clone Wars. As awful as that game was, that'll be number one though. Tetris Worlds was number one.
No. I definitely remember playing that on Xbox. It was like the 2-in-1.
Yeah.
And Tetris Worlds?
Tetris Worlds, and it was Clone Wars. Now, Clone Wars was pretty crap, but there was a mode I played a lot where it's like fighting waves of enemies, and me and my little brother would play the hell out of that.
It was a horde mode before horde mode became a thing.
It was pretty fun, dude. But that was about the best that game was getting. But I guess I am going to explain the rules, because the way it came off there, I could see people not understanding. But somebody picks a game they really like in the genre, and then we all go around and try to think of a game that we think is better in that same genre.
We stay in the order, right?
Yeah.
Like I'd go next after Josh now? Okay.
Yes.
Well, it just so happens that I have a
How are you going to beat Tetris?
Oh, very, very easily.
It's not about winning. It's not about winning. It's just, in your opinion, what is a game that better exemplifies puzzlers? But in this case, he said Tetris, so you're screwed.
But, you ever thought?
So here's the thing. I understand there are certain games that are timeless. People always bring them up as the best of their genre, and that might be somewhat true, but I feel like the more years that go by, people hold on to that forever, no matter how good or how bad the game is, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel this way about Tetris. I think Tetris is a very good game, but I think a puzzler that's way better than this is The Witness. I think The Witness is the all-time greatest puzzle game I've ever played. I think it's almost like annoyingly smart to where he's probably such like up his own ass, Jonathan Blow. But at the same time, I'm glad he is, because then I wouldn't have gotten this wonderful game had he not.
Stay up your ass, Josh.
Go ahead, Josh.
I will. I will.
Had he not been so far up his own bottom, let's say, I don't think we would have gotten this game that is just brilliant. And I think if you have not played this game, if you start playing this game, after about a week, you're going to have your phone filled with pictures. You're going to have a bunch of papers all over your desk with drawings. You're going to have audio recordings. I'm telling you, this game is just mind blowing, man. And I would never spoil it. Of course not. But there's, when you get to the end game, it becomes a whole different game. It like goes to a new level. It's just, man, what a game. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Have any of you guys ever played The Witness?
You can be
no,
wrong.
but I've heard nothing but good things about it, and like,
man, dude,
exactly for the reasons you said. Like, there's a reason the game is like so well regarded. You know what I mean? Like, everyone I hear when they're talking about a good puzzle game, there's always two main choices, really, not counting the classics, but like just modern puzzle games.
Right.
And The Witness is almost always one of them.
Yeah. No, it's the thing I like about The Witness the most is that it's a huge island that if you get stuck, there's no reason why you can't just walk away and go to another part of the island and try a different puzzle. Mm-hmm. But each part of the island will teach you like a language per se, right? Like the only mechanic in the game is literally drawing lines, right? From the beginning to the end. But you might come to a spot where there's 4 panels in a row that get progressively harder, but very simple to introduce you to the quote unquote language. Then you might stumble upon another part of the island an hour later where that's the languages in the whole town or something,
What really, platform was that on?
It originally came out on PS4, I want to say, and I think now it's on
PS Plus game when it launched. That was like the whole thing, right?
Was it? No, hold on. I want to say it's sold for 40 off the bat. I could be wrong, but I remember a conversation about people saying they were happy that he felt confident in his game, not selling it for 20. He felt it was worth 40. Like, it was like a whole talking point. So I think maybe later it came to PS Plus, but it was on PlayStation. I want to say it's on Xbox now and PC. Okay. But yeah, man, it's an incredible game. I think the game should be on phones and Switch, honestly, because it's a very simple, mechanic that you're using throughout the whole entire game. But don't let that fool you, because it is a super, super complicated, very out there game. I mean, yeah, it's awesome, man. So yeah, that'd be my pick for.
Okay. Well, real quick. So The Witness PS Plus became free in March of 2019, and the game released in January of 2019. So that's where I was slipped up there. It was like 2 months later. That's how I played it.
Cool.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Now, this is just a quick question.
Sure.
I don't know if you know the game, The Talos Principle, or not.
Yes.
I do.
Is that like a similar type of game? Like, I always see them, but I've never played either of them.
I would say Witness mixed with Portal.
Okay.
Well, I think the Talos Principle is more like Myst, in my opinion, than The Witness. They all share some DNA, but I feel The Witness, I don't know, kind of takes its own turn, The Talos Principle and Myst.
Talos Principle is actually pretty fire.
Yeah. I haven't played through it, but I played
excited for the second one.
It. Yeah. Yep. So, but the thing is, The Witness ruined these kinds of games for me. The Talos Principle is probably a great game. I can't stop comparing it to it. It's hard for me not to.
Well, you know what you can compare it to? Segue to my discussion.
Nice.
Portal 1 and 2.
I mean, amazing.
Well, pick one.
Those are the two games that people say for like modern. I would say Portal 2, hands down.
Portal 2, yeah.
But those are the two major modern puzzler games that people think about. You know what I mean? Is The Witness, because it's, from what I hear, a fantastic game. It has so many awards and everything. But the thing about Portal 2 is it has that broad appeal, that broad reach. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So not only did The Witness do puzzlers phenomenally and kind of brought that to a more critical view, the genre, at least, but Portal 2 had that big splash of just coming out of nowhere with the orange box and stuff like that. And then the sequel, which they did what almost all sequels have a hard time doing is improving on every aspect of the previous game. And it's just Portal 2 is one of those games that I would not hesitate to call a masterpiece, in my opinion. And I think it's one of the best puzzlers out there. Probably not the best, but in my opinion, it is, because it combines not just the puzzle elements of puzzles, but also endearing characters, fun stories, like just incredible immersion for what you were getting. You know what I mean? It was just, man, like talking about it makes me want to play it.
I actually agree with you. I think The Witness, I like the puzzles more, but you're right. Like the whole package, I don't know. Portal 2 is like really hard to top, man. I don't think I've ever met someone who's played that game and not come away saying things like what you just said about it.
Oh yeah. It just has that effect on people. Tetris effect.
Man. Oh, dude, we need a sound there, Dave. Come on, you got to be on that.
I actually need to find Portal 2 on the PS3 again, because that was one of the games I actually lost in the hurricane a few years ago.
Oh shit!
Oh wow!
I actually find that and to have it in my collection again, because that was, man, what a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that and the orange box. What is it? It was the orange. Was it the orange box that had the? Yeah, man. Both of those were like, man. To think that Valve used to make those kind of titles, and it's like. Man,
you want to know you want to know the worst part of this conversation is we said Tetris, The Witness, and Portal 2, and now poor Tim over here.
And that's what I'm saying.
He's like, man,
y'all are taking all the ones I was gonna say. I don't know what else to say.
I don't even know what's left.
I can't beat it.
I tell folks all the time, like, you never knew blocks would be so difficult until you play Tetris. You have to line them up, and you're just like, oh man, it just stresses you out.
Tetris is it, I will say though, even though I said what I said earlier, where like some games people act like they're the greatest games ever, no matter how much time goes by, I will throw on some Tetris anytime though, and it's super enjoyable. Like, I don't know, it's just timeless, you know.
OG Tetris Plus on PS1, and then there is Tetris, the Tetris Effect. The Tetris Effect, literally, like, end of that game. I like take off my headset and like a tear's just rolling down my face. And that was just an incredible moment.
Cool
in
experience.
I'm always gonna remember that. Yeah.
All right,
and that's what
I don't know what to say to top that, because that's what I was going to say. Is I don't.
That's all right.
Again, it's not about beating. It's just like, what do you think is a game that better exemplifies it? You know what I mean? You could say Yoshi's Cookie or Wario's Woods, and I will 100% support that, because those games are fire.
Dude,
is that a cooking game coming out on the Switch?
Deep cut, man.
God. I mean, I don't even know.
It's okay. I mean, it's okay if you don't think of one. We can always just.
Yeah, we can always.
I was really into World of Goo way back on Wii launch.
Oh man,
that was really good. So I'll say
that game.
I don't think it's better than those others, but I still think like anyone should play that at least sometime within your life frame. If like that's definitely one of like a must play. I feel.
Oh yeah, man. I remember when that game came out, there was so much like talk about it online. Like it was actually really impressive, because I think that game got a lot of traction. And then didn't the company that made that went on to make that chimney burning game? Yeah. I can't remember the name of it, but
me either.
And that got a lot of traction too. Like that company actually had some pretty good bangers like back in the WiiWare days. And
yes,
I played World of Goo a little bit and I walked away really impressed with it.
Because, like, I really liked The Witness, and I was trying really hard, but I guess I'm just an idiot in the end, because I just couldn't finish it, and I just kept falling off, and it was so hard for me, I remember. But, like, when I play Portal, or Tetris, or World of Goo, like, even if they end up reaching those same heights, because there's so many other elements of just fun to it, The Witness is, like, genius level of, like, how it's structured, but it's not like fun to me. Like, it's more of like connecting lines with other lines, and it's like a big moment of like, whoa, like, the game sort of shifts, and and you get this sort of like special moment that I wouldn't spoil. But in terms of just like the core mechanics, like I don't think are technically fun. You know what I'm saying?
I will give you this one piece of advice if you ever go back to it. If you ever get stuck in The Witness, walk away. I'm telling you, that's the way you're supposed to do it. Like, walk away to another part of the island, and then you're going to get real far in this next town. Or because I had trouble with that. I'm like, no, I need to solve this right now. And then you're banging your head against the wall and you never get anywhere. You walk down, 50 feet this way. Now you're in a whole different part of the island. Something you do understand. You know, just that's what
does it do a thing of like, let's say I walk somewhere completely different. Am I now starting from more basic stuff and building up again? Like, are there technically like 4 or 5 starting spots, or
it's very okay? So there are definitely a handful of spots that are definitely dedicated to you're starting to learn the language of this area here, right? That definitely happens. But then you might stumble into a town where they're combining 4 or 5 different things at the same time. You know, it's very random like that. But you'll know, like, hey, I am not ready for this. I don't even know how to solve this yet. You know, you got to find the starter panels. But yeah, that's what was told to me, and it really helped a lot. So
yeah.
All right, cool.
Wheel time.
All right, now hold up. Really quick, when the wheel spins and it mixes, I think we should move down the list. So Rudy, you say the first game next time, and then I'll go after you. And this way, it just kind of adds a little bit of variety around. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
I love that.
Okay. So like a CRPG would fit here?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm picking Disco Elysium because I'm not very well versed in this genre of like really old school traditional RPGs. I've played some of them, but this was the one that I wouldn't ever go as far as to say that Disco Elysium is like this is a good intro one for you.
Well,
but
before you keep going, what is I can't see the category, and listeners need to know the category.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it. It was traditional RPG.
Okay.
So Disco Elysium is a game. First of all, it's a game that has, if you don't like reading text or listening to text, then this game is definitely not for you. It has over 1 million lines of dialogue, and that is not an exaggeration. Yikes. 1 million, which blew my mind when I heard that. But I didn't play Disco Elysium when it first came out. I played the final cut where they added voices to 1 million lines of dialogue, which again is so wild to me.
Insanity.
But the game introduced me to like the whole the idea of like the Dungeons and Dragons, like rolling the dice and do you pass the skill check, and walking into a store and talking to the clerk about a board game and spending 25 minutes talking to them because that's how much they can really contribute to you. Just, completely throwing you off your intended, goal for the day that you're playing or whatever. But man, the story is so good. The acting, the voice acting is like amazing. And it also is super like a very human story about this guy who's like a cop, but he's like drunk. His whole life is falling apart. And you kind of just follow from there. Obviously, I don't want to say much more because there's so much good in this game. But yeah, I'd say this is the one that pulled me into those types of games. And now I'm more likely to play some of those old school ones like Planescape Torment or even go back to Divinity, which I bumped heads with because I had so much, like it was overwhelming me. But now I kind of feel like I want to give some of these games another shot. So yeah, definitely recommend it. I think it's out on all platforms now too. It's a great handheld game. So Switch or Steam Deck. Highly recommend because again, you're going to be reading a lot of dialogue. But you know what I love about it the most is you can brute force your way into situations sometimes by like, you have 7% chance of rolling the dice and getting Dave to tell me about this door that's locked and what's inside of it. And you just try and try and try. And eventually you'll get through there. So yeah, that's my pick for this one. One of my all-time favorite games, man.
Oh yeah, and it's one of those games that again I hear so much about, but I just reluctantly have not picked it up, and it's right up my alley. Like not only is it a traditional role playing game, it's like a role playing game by the very definition. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the main character you play as, that is you. He's a self insert basically, but he has a personality and he has like his own past and history and stuff.
Sure.
You are taking on his role, and I've always wanted to play it, but.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I just don't know why I keep ignoring these amazing games. It's something I got to work on.
I will say, because I think there's a misconception with Disco Elysium, at least that I had. The game isn't really as long and as big as some people think it is. I did everything there was to do in the game, and it took me like, I don't know, 30 hours or so. So it's not like this, Persona 5 or something. It's not like you could definitely get through it in a reasonable amount of time, but it is somewhat overwhelming when you first start. There's a ton of different categories that you could put your points into, but they're so complex that even if you Google stuff, some of them you don't even understand what it's for. But until someone on Reddit will say, "Oh, I found out that when I had 5 in this stat, I was able to do this." So it's a very complex game, but it's super enjoyable. So
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of one of the things about these types of games is the complexity. You know what I mean? Right. For a lot of people, that can be a turnoff. And I know for me specifically, the complexity isn't a problem. It's my own ability to not play the game. But I have more than one copy of that game, but I just gotta pick it up. So it's hard for me to try to think of something that could like quote unquote be a better representation. Oh, sorry, hit my mic. That could be a better representation than Disco Elysium. But if I were to pick, I think what I would say would be Divinity Original Sin 2. You mentioned it already. Mm-hmm. And it's actually a good blend of like a traditional RPG with like your Planescape Torments, your OG Fallouts, but it also is kind of simplified in a way where it's kind of a loose base of like a D&D 5e rule set. It's very loose on that aspect, but like, man, some of the stuff you could do in that game is just absolutely bonkers. Like seeing people that are like just filling up a crate with rocks and then just throwing it at dudes, and that's how they beat the entire game. It's absolutely bonkers. But and like as good as the creativity is of the game and like your freedom of expression and playing the game and stuff, like the story is actually great. And there's a lot of really good characters, and and I guess I was gonna kind of jump into JRPG territory and start gushing about that, but I feel like games like Chrono Trigger is too easy of a pick. You know what I mean? Great game. So I went with something a little less so. And Divinity Original Sin 2, man, it kind of helped simplify a very, very complex genre into something that a lot of people could play and just pick up and learn. Like my fiance, she wasn't very big into those types of games, but the idea of like a fantasy world, you could make your own character, and you're playing an RPG and you could play it online with friends and just go through a story, like a complex story. She was hooked, and by the time we were getting to the end of the game, she was raising hell by summoning totems all over the place, and she was getting into it just as much as I was, and it was a blast.
That's awesome.
So that's my pick for what I think is a good exemplification, if that's a word, of the traditional RPG.
I'm glad there's hope for that game. I know that's a good game. I never would ever say that's a bad game, but it just didn't work with me when I tried to play it with someone else. But that makes me want to go back and give it another shot by myself.
Yeah, it's definitely one that you got to take a swing at once or twice, because I did the same thing. I took a swing at that game like 2 or 3 times, and now after at the third time it's stuck, and it was worth it. Let me tell you.
Awesome. Wait, should we stop for a second? Did we lose Josh?
Classic RPG. God, there's so many directions I could take this.
It's a tough category, dude.
Yeah, and I don't want to be my typical, but it's like,
listen, you can say Chrono Trigger because I couldn't.
Well, no, what I would say would be like Final Fantasy 7, but when I think like, I don't know.
Hey, that works. I mean,
yeah, honestly, I could gush about that game all day. Flaws and all.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's the best I'm doing. Is just that's my favorite one. That's what I actually do think is the best RPG. Just because like RPG is a lot about story just as much as it is about like mechanics to the gameplay and all of that. And I think Final Fantasy 7 is a perfect blend of the two, with the material system on top of having an incredible story. And I just feel like it's hard pressed to get better than that. So
yeah, honestly,
I'm just gonna stay there.
I'll straight up say that the story of and characters of Final Fantasy VII had shaped me from a child to the man you see before you today. Yeah. Unfortunately,
it's why I like the stuff that I like.
It's like, I mean, and Final Fantasy VII did a lot of things for kids our age when it came out. Like, it introduced us to like love and loss, and it's like those are two very heavy things that children shouldn't get to see early on, you know what I mean? So like delivering it in that medium, it was a shock, you know what I mean? And to the people who didn't play something like Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy VI before, you know what I mean? Like,
because that's when JRPGs popped off, because before then, yes, people did play here and there, but they weren't like in the United States. I mean, obviously,
exactly.
It just wasn't that big. This was Sony pouring millions into the marketing to make it a big thing, and it paid off.
Yeah.
And dude,
you know how I feel about Final Fantasy VII? I don't think it's the best Final Fantasy. It's my personal favorite. It's not the best, but easily it is the most important one. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I think that's totally right. I was just going to say something similar to what you said. It's not my top pick, but I would be lying if I said it's not like the one that affected me the most in terms of getting into JRPGs and RPGs with heavy stories and themes like that. I mean, 100%. Yeah. There's no real debate there. So
comfort food. So this is a broad topic.
Very
this
broad,
is like it's borderline guilty pleasure. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
where it's like,
kinda.
It's like that game where like you play it, you have fun with it, and it's like you know it's not that good, but you can't sit there. You just sit there and keep gobbling it. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I think a recent example. Okay, not recent for like the gaming hemisphere as a whole, but recent for me is World War Z. So I've been playing that quite a bit lately, and let me tell you, man, like the horde technology they have in that game is the wildest crap I have ever seen in any game when it comes to like hordes and stuff. Like Days Gone, Left 4 Dead 2. I still don't think though they have it just right, but like in World War Z, man, like there's a mission where you're on a yacht that was supposed to be like a safe place, like from the zombies and stuff, and someone came on board because obviously, well, it wasn't a yacht, it's a cruise ship to put the size in check. And like someone got infected, so now you're running through this cruise ship and there's just zombies pouring out of like doorways, hallways, and you get to like this big like square area, like central area of this like gigantic cruise ship, and all these zombies are just pouring from like 20 levels up, just all the way down, just coming in and smashing into the ground and then just booking it at you. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's if there was like a game for empty calories, it would be World War Z. You know what I mean? Like
that's awesome.
Just even though I have like 30-40 hours in the game right now, nothing like it just gets me excited when I see a horde incoming and like it's just a wall of zombies, and I have like a DMR and I put one bullet in there and I know that bullet's going through one zombie and the 4 behind it, but the horde is still coming. It's just a blast, man. And the horde modes in that game is some of the best horde mode in any game since Gears of War, in my opinion. And it's the equivalent of eating a bag of chips when you don't want dinner. You know what I mean? It's like I could play something significant right now, or I can just sit down and kill about 7,000 zombies in half an hour. I think I'm going to take that one. You know what I mean? So that's my pick is World War Z for comfort food games.
Who's next?
You are.
Okay. Kirby games? I mean, I love them. They're fantastic, but and like I'm just smiling the entire time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to sit there and like recommend them to people and be like, "Hey, dude, you have to check." Right? Forbidden Land's probably the only one where I feel I could try to recommend them. But no, I've been loving Kirby since I was a kid, regardless of when Forbidden Land came out, and I mean, even the weird ones like Rainbow Cruise with the Wii U touchpad, I mean, even that was a blast. Like, I've played probably at least a dozen Kirby games beginning to end, and I'll never stop. I love them.
Hell yeah, dude. Like, I mean, what better character to exemplify comfort food than Kirby? You know what I mean? Like
that's a solid one for sure.
Like, let's be real here. And I mean, I like playing those games. Like, I remember playing those games on an emulator with my sister. Both of us huddled around a keyboard so we could both play player 1 and 2.
I did do that with my little brother. Same thing. One side keyboard, him on the other. Yeah.
And man, like those games, again, like I'll never forget. This is a core memory I have from college. All right. So picture this: young, healthier, probably more handsome Dave sitting in his dorm room, playing on his freshly homebrewed Wii. And Kirby's Epic Yarn, the hit new release.
Dude, that game was awesome. I love it.
And so I was sitting down playing this game, and it was such a blast, dude. I just had a cheek to cheek grin the entire time. And my buddy Joe at the time. Now Joe, good buddy of mine, but he's notorious, like he doesn't care for like those types of games.
Yeah.
He's more of like a grinder guy, like playing like he's like knee deep in Diablo right now.
Right.
But he was like always gave me so much shit about playing Kirby's Epic Yarn because it was just this weird, like pretty little game that I would play after I was done playing Gears of War. And then like he looked at me one day and he goes, you know what? You know Dave's having a good time when he's playing Kirby's Epic Yarn, and he has the biggest smile I've ever seen on his face.
Hell yeah.
And it's like, that's just Kirby, man. It's just what it does to you. I love it.
So funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember those days.
Joshua, comfort food. Let's hear it.
Comfort food or can put down? This will not show me what.
See, I feel like they're
kind of the same.
A little. I don't know. I feel like they're a little different.
It's a little different, yeah.
Honestly, probably. Well, I'm not going to count the latest one, but the first 3 Mass Effects, like I could play through those.
Oh,
like I could play through those.
Food. Yeah,
I could play through those like 100 times and never get bored. Obviously, we don't talk about Andromeda. No thanks.
But I feel a lot of people would be like, "Well, once you know the story, why would you play?" And it's like that's not what it's. No, it's great.
It's not the same. Okay, leave me alone.
Yeah.
To
it's
quote,
like something about the first 3 with the characters and just
Yeah.
I mean, they have a Garrus body pillow you can buy now. Like, of course, if it has big enough impact for you to buy a Garrus body pillow, then
man. The fandom in that game is wild.
Oh yeah, and I'm excited that they're continuing that universe.
Me too.
That's one thing that I'll never stop playing those. If I ever have in between games, I'll just go back and start Mass Effect.
Sidestepping. What do you think? When do you think we actually see at least gameplay of 4?
My God!
I'm guessing 2025, right?
I think Game Awards this year.
Ooh,
damn.
Okay.
It'll be the 2 year. I think it'll be the one. I want to say it's either the 2 or 3 year mark when they originally showed the teaser trailer. So
okay.
Oh yeah.
I would think it'd give them enough time to maybe get something together.
But see, I would think that if it wasn't BioWare.
Yeah.
But
a little spotty.
Yeah.
And like to quote the thing that you said, Tim, where people are like, "Oh, if you already know the story, how could you enjoy it again?" Like to quote the man, the myth, the legend, Tim Rogers. He said, "If something is the greatest of all time, and like, why would you watch it more than once? Like, if imagine having a favorite song and it's your favorite song in the whole world, but you've only listened to it once."
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually.
Like, what does that mean? Like, how could you have the favorite thing in the world, but you've only watched it or listened to it once? That doesn't make any sense.
God, when you put it that way, it's like so clear. God.
Yeah.
I never thought that anyway, but wow.
I mean, the only reason I distance myself is just so I can hope to forget. And then but I still want to play it again. Yeah.
And Rudy, don't worry. I know you bought the legendary edition for me for my birthday a while back. I have started Mass Effect 1. I have gotten into it.
All right.
I forget. Was that not a thing you ever played?
I've never played Mass Effect, and I will. They will never let me live this down, Rudy and Joe. But I have a hard
never.
Well, one of the reasons is I have a hard time memorizing all the planets, all the races, all the government institutions.
I think you're right.
It's too much.
You don't have to. You don't have
Tim, listen, the reason why we give Dave hell, all in good fun, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Is 2 reasons. Number 1, as you know, they're some of the best games of all time. But more importantly, Dave is one of the smartest people I know and memorizes the most shit I've ever heard in my entire life. So I just don't give him that excuse. So.
No, it is still to this day, and I don't think it'll ever happen again. We don't know. I think not. But this is the only time we ever got like a trilogy that coincided with each other and blended all 3 games into a coherent story and actually pulled from the previous in really impactful ways. Things have tried to do this, but it's never even came close to actually, like, I don't know, being successful in it. Mass Effect's the only example I can think of that was successful in pulling that off. Like, and for like that reason alone, I think it's worth experiencing because you're never going to get this again.
Just to make Dave like mad, we should just get him an unpatched original 360 with an original Mass Effect disc, so you can live that. Like, this was back when, you know, the cutscenes would be playing, but the textures were loading in.
Oh, and the elevator.
Like,
remember the elevator?
Yeah,
that would
the elevator.
take
The
2.5
lighting
minutes.
the lighting was awful. You had to sit in the elevator for a minute and a half.
Be happy you have Legendary Edition.
I think usually I would get up and go get a snack and a drink and make a phone call while I was in the elevator.
That's you know what, Dave, that's what you need to do. You need to play it on an unpatched 360 like we did back in the day to experience this masterpiece.
Oh, man.
Are you gatekeeping Mass Effect right now?
It was so awful.
Actually, before we move on, I'm also gonna just start sending Dave Nier Automata. Like, I'm gonna buy it for him once a week until he plays it. And you know, now it's been updated. You know, they fixed a lot of the issues. So
I'm just saying, man.
I'm bringing up Nier Automata again later.
No, I can't talk though. I can't talk.
I'm not gonna say why.
I have plenty of games too that I should have played and I haven't. So.
I will say, Rudy, you have been heard, but just take a look at the outline for this episode, and you'll see what I have on there.
Okay,
sorry, category.
Just a big 100-hour game ahead of it. No big deal.
No big deal.
One more question about what was just brought up. If Dave had to pick one, Mass Effect or Nier Automata?
Nier Automata.
Good choice.
All day, every day. I'm sorry, Mass Effect and Mass Effect fans. I'm sorry,
dude. Listen, as someone that has played both, and I'm sure most of you guys have played both as well. I think Mass Effect might appeal to more people, but I think Nier will appeal more to him.
Yeah. Okay, and you know what? Just a message.
Being honest,
just a message to the listeners out there. It's not because 2B is half naked for the game. That's not the reason. Okay, I'm a big fan of Platinum games, and that's like I just haven't played that one. Again, it's just my weird habit of just ignoring the big ones.
It's so much. It's so not. I'm not going to get on a tangent because this is what happens every time we talk about Nier. But if you ever look at Nier and you think that that's what it's about, it's so much more than that. I promise you.
And even I know that from only getting like 5 or 6 hours into it.
I actually think that.
No, of course not.
Okay.
All right. I guess for me, I have quite a strange choice. I was going to say The Witness, but I already said that, so I don't want to say it again. But I do play The Witness, strangely enough, sometimes when I'm just bored, wanting to waste a few minutes.
As comfort food?
Yeah, I really do.
Is a salad your idea of comfort food?
On my Steam Deck, I'll play it. But forget that. More importantly, there's a game that every like 3 or 4 months I hop back into once I completed it 107%. I'm, of course, talking about Super Meat Boy. One of my all-time favorite games. I just cannot get enough of this game, man. It is. We played it in college. I played it again a few years later, and then maybe like 4 years ago, I went all the way, 107%. Everything you could possibly do in that game, I did it. And I just think it's so satisfying. The mechanics in that game, even though it's so simple, run, jump, and leave your little trail behind you. It just, they just did it so perfectly. It feels so good. So yeah, that's a game. I'll just randomly on Steam Deck or Switch, pop it on, do 2 or 3 levels, be on my way. So, yeah, that one forever. They came out with Super Meat Boy Forever, which is a good game, but it's not a great game. And Super Meat Boy, I feel like, is just untouched. And unfortunately, they're the two guys disbanded from each other. So now looks like we'll never get something quite like that again. I feel like as a huge Mario fan, Super Meat Boy is like a better platformer than those games. I'm not saying that it's better than all the Mario games. I'm just saying the platforming part specifically, even though they got their inspiration clearly from Mario and games like it, they've just took it to a new level. It feels so perfect. So
the controls in that game are the tightest, dude. God, I'd never expect a game about a weird slippery cube of meat to have the tightest controls I've ever felt in like a platforming
game. And you have, it's almost like, it has to be that good because the things you have to do in that game, and Dave can attest to it, like dropping down a long, narrow, windy area with spikes coming out and people flying at you and everything. One hit, you die. So, it's that's my pick for that one.
Don't forget some of those jumps that if you hold for just a fraction of a second too long, you've jumped too high. Not on this frame. You have to hold it for the next frame, and then you'll make that jump. It's just wild.
Crazy stuff, man. Very, very, very cool. They also made I want to say one of the two guys made Binding of Isaac. If you like those kinds of games, like try again. This would be good for Can't Put Down to roguelikes, or I'd say Super Meat Boy, because you die right there and you start in the same room. I guess it kind of, not really. It's not a roguelike. I don't know what you would consider it, to be honest, but it's a platformer, but you're literally dying, start right there again. So that'd be my choice for comfort food there.
Nice.
Yes, sir. So what do we think? Do you guys want to move on, or do you want to do one more?
Yeah, let's move on. We're 43 minutes in and we still got a lot to do.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay. So Xbox Showcase happening here real soon. Basically, by the next episode being published, we're going to be talking about what took place, right?
Yes. Yep.
So I want to get into just our predictions of what we're expecting to see at the showcase. And, there's a difference between like what you're hoping and what we're like just predicting actually be there. Let's just stick with just actual predictions of what we think is actually going to show up.
No promises.
All right.
And I don't know who wants to go first here. I purposely have mine hidden.
I'll jump in because I don't have that much to say really. So I guess I'll start off. So I would have. God, how do I do this? So Dave, I don't want to point something out you mentioned, but I was gonna say this. You know what? No, I'm gonna wait until you say it, and I'll give you my thoughts. Never mind. Okay, right. So I think Hellblade 2. This is like a sort of halfway hoping and halfway I think it might actually happen. I hope Hellblade 2 trailer, a new trailer, but I don't think we're going to get a date again, unfortunately. I've spoken about this game, the first one on this show before. I'm not a huge fan of the first game, to be honest. I know people rave about it. Just to make it short, I thought the gameplay was not that great. The puzzles, Tim, we talked about the puzzles. I thought they were like infuriating. I thought the story was excellent. I thought the sound design was really, really good. But sometimes the story is not enough to carry me through, and so that was my issue with the first one. So
now I don't agree with combat. I do think the combat's good. I just don't think the puzzles are good.
I thought it was so.
I thought it was okay. It was serviceable. It was enough to get me from point A to point B.
That's a good way to put it. Serviceable,
but not like
I'm not saying where I would freaking Dark Souls or anything. But I'm just
no, of course.
It's not like I would go out and try to get in more fights because it was so enjoyable. It's the complete opposite of that.
So the combat, okay, and the puzzles I really didn't like. Okay, so and those are the two main mechanics of the game. Anyway, when I saw the new one, I thought this looks really interesting. It's been a number of years. They have way more money behind them, so I'm thinking they're gonna flesh these things out, make them better as sequels. Most times we hope that they do. So I'm looking forward to it, and that's what I'm thinking for that. Next one up, Control 2, which Remedy announced that they were working on it. I have a feeling it's gonna appear. I know that Remedy's been doing this back and forth thing. There'll be a one showcase, there'll be another. I have a feeling we'll see it at Xbox, and it's been enough time that I think we could get a trailer with gameplay.
Because Alan Wake 2 was on PlayStation Showcase.
Exactly, and it was just like
their turn here with Xbox.
I think so.
Okay,
and I thought Control 1 was like came out of nowhere. People really loved it. I loved it. It won a bunch of awards. Really, really good, solid foundation. So I think this is a perfect thing for Xbox to show at their showcase. So hoping for that. And finally, avowed gameplay trailer and release date. I think it's been long enough, and this game has kind of gone away for so long that I'm thinking we might see it again.
I have insider knowledge to just straight up say Avowed has been worked on for years at this point by Obsidian at that, which, I mean, they have yet to slip up since it's been a long time since they've had a mishap.
Outer Worlds. Right?
No, I thought that was great. Now this like re-release with that was trash of like the next gen versions, but the original game is fantastic. No.
Well, I this is funny because everyone loves Obsidian for different reasons. I have barely played any Obsidian games, but the one Obsidian game I did play was Pentiment, and that's the reason why I like them. So I'm all in now. But I know it's the one that no one ever calls out.
New Vegas is phenomenal.
I was getting on Dave, but I've missed a bunch of these big games too. So
Grounded is phenomenal. I will say. Different. And I don't know, man, the thing about like Outer Worlds, I always keep wanting to say Outer Wilds, but Outer Worlds.
I know.
Like the thing about it was I just feel like it didn't do anything exemplary. And I would say Obsidian has been almost exclusively exemplary, but Outer Worlds was kind of just.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I would give it a solid like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
where the
I would say like a 6 or a
9s
7.
and 10s, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, yeah, I'm with you.
But you're right; they didn't have a major mishap. They had a slight disappointment, but that's a hell of a record. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited for Avowed.
I have a lot of faith in the team. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Me too.
And I know they've been working on it for many years, so it's getting that point to where we are going to start seeing this thing.
That's good. I hope, man.
That's what just saying. Anyway. Okay. Dave.
All right. So I know you said not to focus on your hopes, but I'm sorry. I'm going to focus on my hopes. Starfield.
Well, the first one, they're having a Starfield event after the showcase. I don't know if you saw that. So
I didn't actually.
I don't want to ruin this for you. Like, so they're not doing Starfield at all. And then they're doing a Starfield event for a full hour after the showcase.
Yep. Oh, that's good. And now I'm not like uber hyped for it because I have a bone to pick with Bethesda, but you know, I just know they're gonna. It's like their baby. You know what I mean? That's like their thing. That's their console seller. You know,
this
that's
has to be good for them to keep going forward. Let's say.
Yeah. And I would even be 100% behind them pulling a Nintendo and saying, "Hey, the game's complete, but we're gonna take off for a couple months just to fix bugs," because I can't think of anything more unreliable than a Bethesda launch game. So it's just, I don't know. I hope they really come up. It would be nice to have a true release date because the game does look impressive, and the ambition in that game is just Star Citizen levels of ambition. You know what I mean?
September
Before
6th?
we move on from Starfield, let's go around the room here. 30 or 60? What do y'all say? Console, like Xbox Series X, is it hitting 30 or 60?
I think they'll have a performance mode for 60.
Think so? Because this is the big tangent of debate.
I think especially after Redfall, they would have to give us something, dude.
I wish I could agree with Josh, honestly, but I'm so skeptical. I'm so cynical at this point with this stuff that I think it's going to be 30. And I think there's going to be some excuse and there's going to be some. I hope I'm wrong, honestly, because I want more and more people on console to play at 60 because it's just way better. But that's just my feeling on it.
You want to know my weirdly accurate and probably too specific guess? I'm going to say it's going to do 30 FPS, and that's going to be their fidelity mode, locked 30 FPS. But they're going to have a performance mode where all it does is unlock the frame rate, and it's barely going to hit 60. It might be at 60 every now and then, but it's just going to be an unlocked frame rate.
My answer. They're going to unlock the frame rate, but it's never going to hit 60.
Yeah,
if it
that's where
it'll
I'm
be really rare situations. Yeah.
And I mean, can you remember the last time a Bethesda game came out and it was actually well optimized?
Yeah.
The Skyrim when it came out was destroying PS3s. You know what I mean?
I remember that.
I have faith and I want it to be good because Starfield sounds like a blast. And like I'm playing a game called Everspace 2 right now, which is kind of like a condensed version of Starfield. You have a ship, you do some dogfighting.
What do you think about it?
I think it's great. It's a spaceship RPG, like a dogfighting arcade combat spaceship RPG. You never leave your ship, so you're just always flying around. And they even have like a big open like overworld, like in the old JRPGs, you know, where your character is tiny and you like walk around. But it's and it's really neat. And you just jump into like hyperspace and you're just flying around hyperspace, and that's the overworld. It's really neat. And there's like experience leveling up, blah blah blah. I recommend it. It's on Game Pass.
I don't want to sidetrack too much, but yeah. I got you.
This is Bethesda's first new IP in 25 years, so they have a lot riding on Starfield.
Yeah, I agree.
They sure do.
I hope it's good because Xbox really needs a strong exclusive.
I agree with you.
So, you know, obviously
Bethesda, a lot riding on it. Xbox brand, a lot riding on it. It's
especially after Redfall. Redfall was
Yeah. Speaking of disappointments, Stalker 2, I want more information about this game, and I get disappointed with every day that passes where there's no more information about Stalker 2.
Well, I think they said the war going on in the Ukraine. Right. So
yeah, for sure.
That's understandable.
And
they
it's understandable.
Even a month or two ago, and they're still saying, they're still struggling with it and don't really know what to say.
Yeah, and it's so heartbreaking, man. Not just for everybody over there developing the game. Like, obviously, that's where the real heartache is. But like for me, being a spoiled little gamer boy, I just want more Stalker 2. You know what I mean? Like,
so good.
Yeah,
everything.
I'm purposely avoiding that game because I just feel bad.
Yeah, and I mean, the Stalker games have a very special place in my heart, and there hasn't been any games since that have replicated the feeling of playing a Stalker game. And if you haven't played a Stalker game and you're into hardcore survival, Russian FPS games, look up Stalker Anomaly. It's a free-to-play mod of the Stalker games where they took all 3 maps of the games and mushed them into one big map, and that's you could just jump in sandbox mode and just jump in, be part of the world, and just go and do whatever you want. And it's a blast. And it's just such a unique game, and it's hard to go into it without gushing about it for an hour. So I'm just going to pass on that. But if the idea of it sounds interesting, like look up some videos and just play Stalker Anomaly if you want. It's a very high demanding game, but man, it's one of the most unique gaming experiences I think I've ever had.
Sorry.
Stalker Anomaly.
Okay.
Oh, I think you told me about this.
Yeah, it's free from ModDB, so highly recommend getting it. It's moddable. There's a bunch of mods you can get. But anyways, Stalker 2 just looks like Stalker but better, and I am so excited for it. I hope they have an actual co-op mode. That'd be really cool. Like exploring the zone with a buddy, that'd be great. And I just want a release date. I know they're having a hard time over there, so I won't fault them for it, but my hopes and prayers are just lasting with Stalker 2 release date, because I would love to play it this year. It's one of my most looking forward to.
But like you said, maybe show us a little bit of what you guys have been able to work on, and just be like, hey, we're doing great, but with everything going on, we need a little bit more time. Yeah,
and it's one of those cases where it's like it's completely understandable that you guys are haven't put out anything, and you can't say anything bad about it. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to hearing more about that. And another thing that I'm looking forward to is Silk Song. This one, let's just be real, this is just 100% copium right here. It's just me wanting to see. I want to see Silk Song. I know.
I didn't get to see your thoughts, Dave, on that tweet. What do you think of that? Like,
you saw the tweet?
I did not see a tweet.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about earlier, that I wanted to wait to jump in. So I was talking with Tim. I was like, 100%. This is getting shadow dropped on June 11th. It's time. It's been long enough. We're ready. And then all of a sudden, this dude from Team Cherry puts out a tweet that says, like, hey guys, just want to let you know we're still working. The game is turning out bigger than we had thought. We're going to need more time, et cetera, something like that. So
wow.
For him to just put that out like a week ago, I think it's not going to happen on this day. But damn, Hollow Knight is one of the best games of all time. And there's no exaggeration there. God.
Absolutely.
I feel like if they came out and shadow dropped it at the Xbox showcase,
God.
Rudy would just be like, well, Xbox wins.
I would lose my mind. That's it. It'd be over. There's like 2 games I'll never stop talking about: Hollow Knight and Nier. That's it. I mean, I can't. So maybe one day.
He would probably turn off the Xbox showcase immediately just to go make sure
just go.
I would. I'd get that shit. I'd get that on my Steam Deck right away. I'd be out.
But I felt so confident about it though when they were like, "Oh yeah, everything coming out a year from now." And then someone even tweeted at Xbox, "Is it true? Is Hollow Knight included in this?" Yeah, you bet it is. And then
and I don't even blame Xbox for that, because they're telling us,
it's not their fault.
Yes,
right?
We're releasing in this time frame, and they're just the ones not actually delivering that.
Is Hollow Knight a Game Pass release? Is the new one going to be a Hollow?
No,
yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
And it's okay though. Whatever. The game is clearly shaping up to be even bigger and better than they thought. So it is what it is. We have enough games to play, so I'm okay.
Rudy's like, take your time until it's done. Don't.
When I said that out loud, I'm okay. I don't know if I believed it.
Well, I think Final Fantasy 16 and I think Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. And Street Fighter we've been playing, so.
Yeah, these games that have taken the extra time to polish, as long as there's a good game there anyway, definitely benefit from it. So
I can't wait, man.
One hand,
whenever
I really
that does
don't
come out,
want to keep rushing them, but I mean, I don't know. At some point, again, shit or get off the pot. You can't. I don't know. It's been years, so
the only thing I'm undecided on is I played Hollow Knight 1 on Switch, and I thought it was so perfect for it. And the thing about the Switch,
I don't know if I want to do my Switch or my Steam Deck. I'm having a hard time.
The thing about the Switch compared to the Steam Deck for me, using both of them, is I feel like the Switch is so pick it up anytime, press the power button, I'm in, I'm playing, I'm done, I throw it on the couch. I don't even think about it, right? The Steam Deck, I feel like it's so much more delicate, It's like press the power button, it takes a good 5 seconds to be back into the game. I don't know. I feel like I don't drop. And Dave, ever since you clarified for me with pressing it doesn't keep the timer going, that's helped somewhat. But again, I don't feel like I always have the Steam Deck ready. It's just laying on the couch somewhere. I don't use it like that for whatever reason.
I have that, but I have an extra layer on Switch to where I have a Switch Lite. And
that's what I have too. That's why
that D-pad.
I'm much more likely to throw the Switch Lite in my bag just like that.
Be beat. I'm telling you.
Yeah, the Switch Lite goes in my bag as is. Boom, throw it in there. When I bring the Steam Deck with me to work or somewhere, I'll put it in its case, turn it off, put it right in my bag.
I can't just toss it somewhere.
Yeah.
So machine,
that's why I'm back and forth on where I want to get it. I want it to be part of my Steam library. It's forever, no worry. But I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, whenever that game drops, we'll figure it out then.
Oh yeah. Anyways, moving on from me, who wants to go next for their predictions? Tim
Josh.
Saving the best for last.
Yeah, I got a lot to say. So,
attaboy.
Josh, take it away.
I mean, for me, I want Fable, just 100%.
Did y'all see the Fable tweet?
Yeah, I saw the Fable tweet.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that it's not just a anniversary collection.
Someone remind me of the tweet. What was the tweet? I must have missed it.
They didn't say Fable, but they highly... There's like fairy dust and everything.
There's like a trail of glitter from like... It looks like an Xbox all the way through a hallway, all the way to a TV screen that says Xbox Showcase. And it has the Fable music playing in the background.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, very cool.
I think it's been, 3 years since they showed the teaser?
Oh, yeah.
2020. So it's like... And they're using
the Xbox director guy was saying he was wanting to show it last year, but the team was telling them, no, we wanted a little more time before we show.
Yeah. Well, they're using the Forza engine, so it's obviously going to look good if they're using the Forza engine.
Yeah.
But my thing is like, how are you guys
actually
going
make a Fable game? Is the question.
Yeah,
I guess.
It's like Fable 1 and 2 were so were very highly acclaimed back in the day, and it's like Fable 3 came out and it was nothing groundbreaking. It was literally Fable 2 just reskinned with
just more Fable
story. Yeah. So it's like, what are you guys going to do different? But like, are you guys going to show gameplay? Are you going to do a cinematic again? I would think with it being 3 years and they're using an engine that they've been using for a while, that they would
better have gameplay. Jeez.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, just give me some gameplay and I'll be good.
Yeah.
Because Starfield's already, we already know that's coming out, but I want some Fable news.
And they already gave a teaser 2 years ago, so they can't just do another teaser. So
like don't do that. Give me some gameplay. Like this could be another game that you guys, can come out and be like, hey, we have games now. You just had to give us time to make some.
It's nice. It's nice to see to see Fable fans going through what Metroid Prime 4 fans have gone through.
Oh my god!
You know what I mean?
Like it's coming
forever.
It's one of these days, but like I don't. I mean, Xbox. That's what's so hard about doing my job is like it's hard to sell a Series X at work when there's no games out.
Yeah.
That are really,
it's totally fair.
It's like what games besides Starfield can I recommend for you? I don't really.
We don't even know if it's
give me a week and I'll let you know after the showcase what get a series.
Well, just to do another little deep cut on based off what Dave said about Metroid fans dealing with, Fable fans dealing with the same thing. Well, let's go all the way back to the damn Duke Nukem fans like myself that pre-ordered Duke Nukem Forever in 1995 or something. Okay. And I finally picked it up and Dave was right next to me. I came home with it. I was all excited. And I kept saying out loud, like, this is pretty fun, Dave. I like this. And like an hour went by and I'm like, it's all right. It's kind of the multiplayer mode's fun. So yeah, never forget.
Oh man!
All right, so it starts right. You go into the locker rooms, the bathroom. You find turd in the toilet.
You find
and
a turd,
you throw it all over the bathroom.
Then you go to the football field.
Forget that.
I wanted that game to be good so bad. I played for like 3 hours. I just couldn't. I beat it. I forced myself to beat it.
Oh God, I didn't.
I did. I couldn't give up that quick, but.
Do you have evidence of your pre-order? That's what I want to know. That'd be really
Oh
cool.
my God.
That would be such a historical piece if you could find
I have no clue. I'm gonna check like my old wallet.
You
Maybe see
know,
if it's
that
in
would
there
be
somewhere.
neat.
I swear you showed me a receipt, dude, or
I
something.
probably did. I
swear
probably did,
or like a
honestly.
picture of one or something.
Maybe I have something on like an old hard drive. I would have saved something like that. But can we get a new Duke Nukem game? I know we're past those times. I know people wouldn't accept it, but please, can we just get one? I would be so happy.
He's like,
dude, at least we could know that in our day and age, we have so much solace we could seek in the boomer shooter genre. We got the new bolt gun for Warhammer 40K. We got that. What is that one? Nightmare.
What is it?
Well, that was Proteus too, which I played.
That's Proteus, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I want to play this new one. I know it's on the tip of Dave's tongue, and
it is.
It's like it starts with an A and it has an X in the title, and it's a really long title. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I can't remember. I know what you're talking about, but yeah, like at least we have modern boomer shooters.
That's true.
And Nightmare Reaper, that's the one that I was thinking of, is a phenomenal blend of boomer shooter and roguelike. Highly recommend. And it's just nice to know that at least for the people who have forgotten Duke Nukem, at least there are people who want to have games that are similar. And it's nice to know that we got some high quality boomer shooters to replace that Duke Nukem itch.
I'll never forget you, Duke. Don't worry.
Oh, I found it here. Slayer's X, Terminal Aftermath, Vengeance of the Slayer. It's supposed to be really awesome, and I want to give this a shot. It's very like gross but epic 90s shooter, but like gross in like a booger way, you know, like with neon colors and everything.
What is that game? I can't remember the name of it, but it's extremely trippy, and it's more like an immersive sim, but it's Cruelty Squad. That's what it's called. It's similar look, and it's a trip, dude. But anyways, moving on.
Josh, what are your others here? You got
I mean, what else? Honestly, I put the on the list. I mean, another acquisition would be a surprise, but at the same time, I wouldn't put it past them. Because of the whole Activision thing, obviously that was halted, but at the same time, I think it's almost done now.
It looks like it's actually going through now. So
either they're going to announce another acquisition, or they'll come out and say, "Hey, the Activision deal's done." But I'm not sure who else they would pick up, because obviously Bandai Namco came out and said, "No, we're staying multi-platform." I don't see Capcom getting bought. Resident Evil.
Definitely not.
I definitely don't see that. I don't see.
They're in their heyday.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't see really anything now. If they wanted to rattle, shake some feathers up, buy Sega, get Yakuza on Xbox, get Sonic on Xbox. Like that can be your Mario. Make it go back to the old school days where Sonic was. But I can't really think of anything that they could buy that would really make that much of an impact. Unless they come out and buy Remedy and is like, hey, after Alan Wake 2, Remedy's going to be ours.
If they bought Sega, like that wouldn't just be like a shock because like, oh, they bought Sega and now they have Sonic, but just like the like cultural implications it would have that they bought Sega. That'd just be sick. I'd be all for that.
I just think with another acquisition, I mean, I doubt it's going to top Bethesda and Activision.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just not sure who else they could actually pick up.
I honestly do think they're good. They've been buying companies for the last 5 or 6 years quite strongly to build up a team. I think once this Activision thing, I think they are solid and done. But the only thing I could is what you said of Sega, just because their history with Sega, like the original Xbox was the Dreamcast 2. That really just how it was. And you're talking Shenmue 2 going on it, and just the way even the controller was designed.
Weren't they originally going to have backwards compatibility support for Dreamcast games on the Xbox?
Trying to do that.
Yeah, but they didn't have it in time.
There's a whole bunch of Sega games on the original Xbox, but to this day, like they've always been really close. It's a female leader, I can't remember her name, that works for Sega, is always like really close with Xbox and praising them all the time and working with them a lot. I wish I could remember her name, but I see that happening. But to be honest, like I also, over anything, I think they're actually good. I think they're done. I think they're good. I think they understood they didn't have much of a team. Like Bungie left, and a lot of outside of Obsidian, they didn't really have anyone else. So I understood them buying Ninja Theory and all of this, but I think they're happy and solid now.
If I was Microsoft and I was given free reign for hey, go buy a studio and make a splash, right? I would go out and specifically, I wouldn't buy the company, but I would buy the Silent Hill IP from Konami and bring back Kojima and have him finish the PT demo for Xbox or PT for Xbox. Like, could you imagine them going out and buying that IP, bringing in Kojima and be like, hey, we want you to do Silent Hills for Xbox as an exclusive. The amount of like fire that would light among people, they'd be like, excuse me, like that would be, I think that'd be wild. And I want a Hellblade 2 release date. I think it's going to be beginning 2024. I think they're going to save Starfield and Forza for this holiday season, and I think they're going to save Hellblade to kick off 2024. I just feel like that would make the most sense because I can't really see them announcing really anything that's going to come out any sooner that we don't already know that's in production besides Hellblade.
Very cool. All right.
Okay. So,
all right, Tim.
Here we go. Persona 3. I'm gonna go through this pretty quickly. Persona 3 Remake, I think, is actually hitting Xbox. I think it's going to be at the showcase because Xbox can't seem to get Square Enix to work with them, right? But you know who is working with them? Like we were just discussing, Sega.
Yeah.
Atlas is Sega, and they already got the whole Persona collection coming. On stage, when they were talking about the Persona all coming, they're saying they're staying committed to this series with Xbox. They've already stated this. So what better thing to just, first of all, just combat that PlayStation Showcase real quick is this Persona 3 Remake popping up on Xbox. And there's so many rumors of Persona 3 Remake coming anyway.
Yep.
I think it's a real good shot of happening. So there's that. Kojima's next project, he's working on an Xbox project. I think it's going to be revealed. There's still a ways out, no release date, anything like that, but at least we're going to get at least a premise of the game. I still don't even think gameplay, because I think Kojima's in the early stages of it, right? But I think it's about time we at least know what it is.
I agree with you.
Hellblade 2, we get gameplay and a release date. I think that's a lot further along than people think. I think it is going to be end of this year, early next year, somewhere in that gap. Let's just say holiday season. Fable, I think a collection is coming because 2 and 3 are pretty stranded on 360. Yes, they did a anniversary thing of the first game, but even that stuck at 30 FPS. So I think they're just going to do the whole collection of 1, 2, and 3, make them 60, and then that's whenever we also see the Fable game with some gameplay. But release date, I'm just going to say is next year, but we're going to see gameplay of that. We're going to get a collection that we're going to be able to play this year. Contraband gameplay, 2024 release date, but they are going to show gameplay of that game. Forza, we're getting a holiday release date. They're going to definitely they got plenty of gameplay of that already. We just don't know when it's releasing, but I'm saying it's hitting the end of the year. Gears Collection, I think, is actually happening. And we're going to get a Gears 6 teaser with no release date. But that Gears Collection, again, 2 and 3, stranded on 360. Yes, you can technically play them on the new consoles. And you can get them at like 60 FPS because they have FPS boost. But if they actually did what they did with the first Gears of like the Ultimate Edition, where they actually threw it like Unreal Engine 4, right? They could even release the Gears Collection, go ahead and do Unreal Engine 5 across 1, 2, and 3. See what I'm saying? If not, at least Unreal Engine 4 of those first 3 games.
Just come out and announce the Gears of War movie with Dave Bautista, because
I think that's a lot of work to do. Yeah.
But I mean, he's begged, and I think now that he's had such popularity with being Drax, and I watched him Knock at the Cabin last night. That was wild. Like, give the man, the Marcus Phoenix he's been wanting like for what 15 years now.
I think they will. It grew so much traction and so much popularity. I feel they almost kind of have to just to win the people over,
Yeah, and you know what? Like,
slap the armor on him and move on. Like
that's the worst thing about Gears of War is like it's more recent games. I just feel like they aren't talked about enough. You know what I mean? Like Gears 5 is phenomenal.
5 is incredible. 4, I can understand being mediocre.
5 is so good, but I feel like it came and went. Like people talked about it for a bit, and it deserves way more recognition.
It really does. Like
it's a really good game.
Their latest games, man, they've still been damn fine games, and it's just a shame that people don't talk about them as much. And like the poor competitive Gears scene is kind of fizzled out too.
I think
which
the
is
collection's
kind of
gonna pop though. A lot of people have like great memories with 2 and 3. And I think
Coalition,
cause
they're killing it. Like with their Unreal Engine work, Coalition's just absolutely murdering.
They are the driving force of Unreal Engine 5 right now. One of the key 5 people. Like they're huge.
And it's like the fact that if you guys are working, at Microsoft, and hopefully, you'll take some of that knowledge and give it to everybody else. Hopefully their games will run better. Good Lord. Because
Indiana Jones. I think we're gonna get gameplay of that, and I think it's releasing next year.
That'd be sweet.
Cool.
We're not gonna see Perfect Dark. I think it's still just in development hell. I don't know if we'll ever see that. It may get canceled. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Let's not forget, they said when they revealed that, that was their quadruple A studio that needs to borrow from other studios for help. Just
man, oh man.
Here's Team Cherry putting in that work, 2 guys.
A Valve, I think we get an early 2024 release date. We get gameplay of that. I think that's a lot further than people realize. Banjo-Kazooie, I do think it's about time for a reboot of that series. Xbox is really struggling with that kind of like strong IP for family kind of fun sort of game. And this would be a mascot they already own, haven't done a lot with for a long time. It's about time Rare work on something other than Sea of Thieves, which is big, really popular. A lot of people love it. It's not my cup of tea, so I don't really, I don't know why it's not.
It's not my cup of tea either. I don't know. I don't know if it's the art style or just the gameplay or what. I've tried it many times. I couldn't get into it.
I will say I played it and I loved it. It is actually a fantastic game, but even still, years on after release, it's still got that moniker of like wide as an ocean, deep as a puddle. It still kind of is like that still, but there is some significant story content, and the story content's pretty damn good.
And a lot of people love the PvP aspect of it all.
PvPing is fun, but it's all just doing it for cosmetics. That's just all it is. You know what I mean? And it's still fun, but yeah.
So I can see, I can even see very end of the show, you getting that little laugh thing, and they pop up, and then the showcase end. I could see that being a good pop-off.
Tim as the voice actor for, Banjo. After that.
And then last here, Wolfenstein 3. It's time. I mean, Machine Games, it's been a while. And I really feel that's been cooking in the scene.
That would be a good exclusive for Xbox if they came out with that. It's because I mean, 1 and 2 were fantastic. So
we're not going to get release date, but we're definitely going to see the game.
Now, do you guys know how well those games sold? I know they're fantastic games. I played through them, but is that really like a console seller, or is it just like, hey, the people who will like this game love this game?
Wolfenstein,
it's like Dishonored kind of level, to where they're great games, people love them, but they don't sell that big.
They said Wolfenstein: The New Order around 3 million copies. It said, and Wolfenstein 2. Yeah. I only see the first weekend. Hold on, let me keep looking.
Yeah, but that's not bad. That's better than I thought.
Wasn't Wolfenstein 1 a dual release? It came out on the 360 and PS3 as well as the PS4 and Xbox One.
Oh, damn.
Around the same time as Evil Within, the first one.
Okay.
That was back when Bethesda released both.
Wow, it looks like, I don't know how much time had passed since it dropped for this, but I see 1.5 million copies for 2, but that's January 4th, 2022. So wait, that's actually
way after,
then. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I knew they sold just okay, but it's just a shame, man. Some of those great games, man, don't sell, and it's dude, it was one of the best campaign shooters I have ever played.
Some of the moments in 2 are so off the wall, crazy, so much fun.
It's the wildest crap I've ever seen in like a first-person shooter campaign. Like the stuff that happens in that game is like insane. It does not take itself seriously, and those games deserve way more recognition for what they were able to pull off.
Now, if half of the things show to what I said, it's gonna be a great show.
Yeah, if half of those showed up, they would have blown Sony's showcase out of the water.
I haven't talked to one of my regulars that were happy with the Sony showcase minus Spider-Man. Like most of them were like, but they already knew Spider-Man was coming. They were like, but I wanted something, a surprise. Where's the where's another Resistance? Where's are you guys gonna do another Uncharted? Like, where's Naughty Dog?
The flip side of all of this, though, is at least PlayStation's actually delivering the games, and we can have showcases all we want, but until we actually get good products from it. But no, I have faith in all these projects. Like Kojima, I have full faith in him. He is working on Xbox project, so I'm good there. Hellblade 2, I'm pretty sure they're going to do a great job. Forza's always great. I think a Gears Collection, of course, that's going to be great. Fable, we'll see. I don't know. That's weird. That's just so weird because of who's making it. A Valve, I have full faith, and Obsidian. So Wolfenstein 3, I do see that being there, and I mean, talk about one of the greatest FPSs. So I think it's going to be a really good show, to be honest.
I hope it is, man.
I hope so.
I do have an honorable mention. If it'd be kind of weird if they did, considering they're both on. I mean, now would be a Fallout New Vegas 2.
Oh, wait. So that's not even a slight like way out of the realm. So many Obsidian employees have. Not even shyly have just been like, we really actually want this to happen on both
because
sides
it's just when they bought because they bought Obsidian first, but then they bought Bethesda, and everybody started making the memes with them being in the same room, and it's like, but I don't think they're gonna
themselves are sharing these memes with eyeballs as well,
and it's so I think they would wait until after Starfield, because I think they would want that to get all the.
Now is not the time to announce this. Yeah. But
that'd be funny.
They have a Valve to focus on, but I think that's going to happen.
Dave's like,
I'd lose my brain if they announced Fallout Vegas, New Vegas too. Because like the only thing about it is Fallout New Vegas was the only modern-ish Fallout game that actually felt like a Fallout game to me. Fallout 3 was all right. It was fine. Fallout 4 was just an FPS, and we don't talk about 76, but like it's just I don't know, man. Like,
I know what
Fallout
you mean.
New
Like
Vegas
the
was
setting
special.
and lore didn't seem to quite nail as well as like the classic 1 and 2, where New Vegas did feel like it was in that realm.
And Fallout 2 is still one of my favorite traditional CRPG games of all time, and I got that feeling when I was playing New Vegas, so much so that I actually installed it on my Steam Deck so I could play it again. Then it's like. I'm looking forward to chomping into that again, but it's just the first Fallout game that was like 3D that felt like an actual Fallout game where things actually mattered. And if they made another one, I'm all for it.
I just don't see Bethesda announcing really anything else because they want all the focus to be on Starfield.
Of course, we still have Elder Scrolls 7 that they announced.
Starfield for Bethesda, and it's a Valve from Obsidian, and again, like I think they just go with those. Instead of
6. I meant to say 6.
Yeah, 6.
Anyway,
whoops.
But that's that. That's all for Xbox. We can move on here. Basically, last topic is I just wanted to go into us naming some titles that we are completely sold on. There's no doubt in our minds of something upcoming that we're just not going to buy and play. Now, of course, we could buy it, play it, and eventually hate it, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, you buy in day one, you couldn't be any happier, and you're just, I don't know, really badly itching to just immediately get this started. And so I just wanted to go through the room here and just, what are all these games for us? It doesn't have to be limited to 3. But I was just trying to make it a little easier if you were having a hard time coming up with them to at least have 3.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I guess Dave, start here since you seem to have the biggest list here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Call me out like that. No, I'm just playing. So I'm going to kind of go through it as fast as I can. I know I'm verbose, but I'll do my best. Stalker 2. I think it's already been covered in the earlier parts of this episode. Man, I cannot praise this game enough. It's one of the wartiest, potentially ugliest, potentially buggiest games of all time. But it'll be an experience that you won't get in any other game. And I'm hoping the sequel will be the same. Armored Core 6. I feel like that's a given. If anyone is a FromSoft fan,
if any of us shares, go ahead and throw it in now because I share that.
Okay.
I'm playing that day one. Anyone else?
I know.
Armored Core
6.
Oh yeah.
And so I don't know. The thing is, I played the first Armored Cores, the first couple, the most. I didn't care for the crack cocaine that Armored Core 4 was on. It was just way too fast, and it was going into like Macross territory, you know, like that old like anime. It's just like it was too much. So I'm hoping they kind of slow it down a little bit, rein that in, and just make it. I want to be in a chunky robot. You know what I mean? I don't want to be on like a crazy zipping around thing that's just moving at 100 miles an hour around corners extremely fast. I want it to be a little more reined in.
Has anyone else played Armored Core in any real way? I mean, I have slight memories in my mind back in PS2 days where I played a little here and there, but I didn't really like it that much. But I wasn't. I mean, it's hard to even remember why or what. So I just know I'm day one just because of the developers. I feel like I have to.
That's weird that that's coming out in what, 2 months from now?
Yeah,
August. I guess wild.
And the thing about Armored Core is like the first couple of games were very weighty. Like you're actually piloting a mech, it will behave as such. You know what I mean? And then in the later games, it was crossing into like hyper speed, like doing crazy drifts and like flying at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Like
just trying to get a good balance of the two.
Yeah, I want a good balance because the Armored Core, I want to say 4 or 5. One of them is insanely fast, and you could literally just. You're moving so fast that the camera can't keep up, and there's just visual like V-Sync tearing and happening all over the place. Great game, but man, it was flawed in its movement. But moving on, Sea of Stars. It just looks like a phenomenal.
This is one for me. Automatic. Yeah. I played the demo actually 2 times now. Love it.
I have not played the demo because I'm wanting to go in as blind as possible. So I'm just watching trailers and looking at their page and stuff.
It's as good as it looks.
Good. And I don't know, man. I have Sea of Stars, and there was another one that I can't remember the name of that is very Chrono Trigger inspired. It's been out for a while now, and that's another one I know you're talking
about. Came out at the end of last year. Josh, you may remember it was on Game Pass.
Echoes? Chained Echoes?
Chained
Echoes.
I think that's
Does that sound right? Yeah.
Yes. Let me make sure. That's it.
That came out.
I'm telling you, that game is sick.
That's what I hear.
Yes.
And I just want some good old-fashioned, old-school JRPG, man. Hit me up.
They have a lot of original ideas, too. It has this overdrive system. It makes the combat real fun. Anyway.
Good. Yeah. And another classic JRPG that I want to bring up is Yuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. It's been a long time.
I never played Suikoden. So
the thing is, they're very unique in their story presentation. And it's basically typical JRPG, but you have like 8 dudes on your team. You could have 8 people on your team. I think it might have even been more in the older games. It's been a long time for me too. But and there's also a bunch of characters called the 108 Stars of Destiny. They are people that you can recruit to be on your team, whether they be playable in battles and in story, or if they're just like helping build out your base or something like that. And it's just this really cool thing where you play a game over and over because you want to try to recruit everybody. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And glad to see you're paying attention, Rugan.
Sorry.
I'm just fucking with you, bud.
No, it's the devs from that did Suikoden working on this. And then they're also working on remastering 1 and 2 of actual Suikoden as well. So if you're about the Suikoden games, I mean, you're going to get a lot of love here real soon.
I hope so, man, because it's been a long time since we've had a really good Suikoden game. And this one, the art, like from the music, the art style, the animations, they're nailing it.
It looks great,
yeah, they're just nailing it, man, and I'm really excited for it.
Wait, sorry, I just have a question. I don't know anything about this game. Is this related to Suikoden?
No, it's a spiritual successor.
Them working on an original IP in the spirit of it. Yes.
If you know Suikoden, man, look that up. Seriously, look that game up. You're gonna like it. So, moving on to another RPG because that's my jam. Baldur's Gate 3. I have not touched the early access at all. I want this to be a complete product. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want it to be a complete product when I play it. And my buddy Joe has been hassling me about it because we played Divinity Original Sin with my fiance and we all had a blast. And he's been wanting to play Baldur's Gate 3 and he's just talking about getting it. And I'm like, no, this is the type of game that I want a complete experience from the moment I start it to the moment the credits roll, because it just looks like that grand of a game. And I'm just really pumped for what Larian can do.
It is the same team who did Destiny.
Awesome.
What you just said,
Divinity.
Yeah, Larian. Larian is the dev, and man, they got some black magic that they work on when they work on RPGs, and I'm extremely excited for it.
Shout out to the Switch version of that game. I thought that was going to be trash. It's actually
really
good.
It was like cross save too, right? Wasn't it? You could go between Steam and Switch. I thought that was pretty cool.
Why are more devs doing that? That's bananas.
I know. That's a great idea.
But as a weird little offbeat, Lords of the Fallen, I think it looks fantastic by looking at the trailers. I don't know how the game is going to be, so this is a purely superficial
one of my regulars came in and pre-ordered he dropped that 250 on that collector's edition.
And I mean, it looks cool. Like the trailers, they do a great job of like just keeping me like interested in what's going on in the story, and it's just presentation looks pretty good. And
this and I don't know of P are like the two like these look to be the best of outside of From Software.
But at the same time, I'm like 95%, and like that 5% is a little shaky. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure. But like, I don't know. I think Lords of the Fallen is a deeply flawed game, the original one, and it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. I don't think it was definitely flawed.
I liked it.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that this, like, I don't know if they're related. I feel like they are, but
this is the Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're related at all. Are they? Can anyone confirm that?
I don't know. I can't tell.
I always thought they were like this was like a reimagining of it or something.
That's what I think it is. Yeah,
that's what I think too.
But the trailers for it, man, they do a good job. So I'm excited for it.
I know.
But that's my short list of at least 3.
Okay. Very cool.
Mine, Final Fantasy 16, obvious. Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2, another obvious, and then Starfield, outside of what you said. So I'll add those 3 to there. What Starfield, I mean, when it comes out, what are you doing with that, Dave?
Well, it's on Game Pass
see with this showcase, right?
Yeah,
maybe we'll.
You're gonna have Baldur's Gate like a week before that, so it's gonna be tough for you, probably.
It'll be tough for me, but as I've shown by my lack of playing phenomenal games, I have no problem just looking at a game and admiring it from a distance, and then buying it, putting it in my backlog, and never looking back. It's just it's a bad habit of mine, but I know once I beat the game that I currently have in my sights. Something like maybe I'll see a meme on Twitter or Reddit or something, and it'll be mentioning this hot new game that came out, and it just happens to be Starfield. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll hop in. I just have a bad habit of that.
All right, Joshua, where are you at?
I mean, Starfield. Obviously, I think everybody's pretty ready for that. I hope it's good. I don't expect it to be perfect when it comes out because it's a Bethesda game. And I'll be very disappointed if I don't see a plant going through a wall or something.
I'm happy to say that we all know there will be issues, but we don't care because we still love their style of games. And it feels good to say that.
Like Skyrim, when it came out on the 360, was like, it played better than the PS3 version. But obviously, like, I was walking around in the world and the horse was just floating in the air. Like that silly stuff like that. Just, I was like, all right, this is fine. But Hellblade obviously would definitely be up there. Fable for sure. I just want Fable to be good and be good like it was back in the 360 days, like for the first.
I just want to see Fable gameplay before I put it in this list because this is I'm 100% on, and I'm not there yet with Fable.
Yeah.
Same with Roleplay too. Now, I want them, but
if they're going to use the engine for Forza, if they're bringing that in to use it for Fable, if it runs, as good as that game does, that would be phenomenal, because Forza runs buttery smooth on a Series S, PC, Series X. Like, it doesn't run terrible. So if y'all can take that engine,
if you want an idea of just seeing how the terrain is like made with like the trees and the way I guess the landscape and all of that, play Forza Horizon, and you'll at least get an idea on
and that's what makes me excited is
trees and all of that.
Yeah, they're using an engine that's been worked on for a couple years. They're not using a new engine, so you don't have to worry about it coming out and being all buggy. Whereas you don't really play a Forza game that's incomplete or
not really.
Yeah, so if they can come out with it strong and not be buggy, then sweet, sign me up.
Dude, side note, everyone always tells me this, and I need to just listen for once. That Forza Horizon, I'm not into racing games at all, but I see people play that game that are not into it, and they love it. Like
Forza Horizon, I prefer the more arcade style. That's why I like Horizon better than Motorsport.
Yeah.
I can't do the simulation versus arcade. I like the arcade.
This is a weird sidestep, but remember Burnout, 2, 3, and then you had that Paradise where it's it's like this Horizon was what Paradise should have been.
Yeah.
There's so many side things to do and explore and have fun with your friends and all these cool games they have. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But obviously you can't really 100% much else because we don't know yet until a week from now. So gotta wait and see, because I'm sure there's going to be one or two more on there that are going to be like, yep, day one. But that's the thing with Xbox, is if it's Xbox, like an Xbox title, it's going to be day one Game Pass. So it's not like you're going to drop $70 and be out of money.
I'm happy about that.
And you guys, I know all of y'all play on PC, so Microsoft's very pro PC and Xbox.
I'm happy
so
about time, man.
And
I'm glad
I must specify, Rudy's always pops in my head when we talk about this is compared to any other publisher, somehow Xbox published games, PC are just so much more optimized than all this.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Especially now, I won't even argue. The thing is, if sometimes people will have a bad faith argument with you about how they see a bad PC release, it's not worth playing on PC. I don't agree with that, but I will say we are in a time period right now where, there's a lot of bad PC ports. So whenever Microsoft comes out and does it right, Doom Eternal is probably the most well optimized PC game I've ever played. It is just incredible.
Have you seen Doom Eternal on the Switch? They got. I want to know what technology they were able to get that game to run on the Switch.
But it's just silly when Dave, myself, and our buddy Joe, we really stay at the top of this PC. If you look at a graph of, gaming PCs in the US or something, we're probably up there, right? So you spend all this money on this time, we set it up, we mess with it, and then we play Jedi Survivor and it freaking runs at 30 frames and it's glitching. What? No, it doesn't make sense.
I know we just got an anomaly of Redfall, but that's a whole separate story we can get into for about 3 hours. But okay,
I didn't even
90%. Now we're at 85, but
I didn't even bother downloading it on my Series X, even though it was Game Pass. I didn't even bother.
The thing with Redfall is, yes, it has problems, but I think more so it's just a bad game.
It's just a bad game.
I get very frustrated when you have a good game that is just great everywhere except for PC. That really bugs me a lot.
Didn't Arcane come out and say this past week that they wanted that game canceled, but Microsoft wouldn't listen or something?
Oh God,
damn!
I don't even know.
They had a point if they wanted it canceled. Maybe
also talking on Fable, the fact that you guys know hey, Fable, you're just gonna be able to play on PC day one. That's so cool.
That is actually really cool.
Yeah.
I like the I'm not a Game Pass person really. I don't have it constantly, but it's nice to be able to jump in occasionally. I played High on Life. I got Game Pass for a month, or I tried Redfall with you for I got my money back for that one though. I refunded it. They gave it back to me.
Yeah, it's nice spending what is it, $10 for Game Pass on PC? It's I can pay $10 instead of having to drop. They were on Steam, for a game.
They were like, they're like, we noticed you're canceling within 1 hour. Do you want your money back? I was like, yes, please.
Oh, they actually suggested that.
It like said
Cool.
something like
That's
the time limit was so quick that they were offering to give it back. I'm like,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, Microsoft, like Xbox in general, even on PC, if you play less than 6 hours of a game and it's within 14 days of you buying it, they'll give you a refund.
Oh, nice. That's good. I mean,
nice.
Xbox is really good at being consumer friendly like that.
Because whereas if you buy it on PlayStation, good luck. Unless it's
PlayStation, you get. I think I've heard that PlayStation, you get one refund ever in your life.
Yeah,
like I think that's it.
Here comes the crazy story. I've
with Cyberpunk.
I hate to side tangent, but I have to now that you brought that up. Spider-Man. I bought PS4 version, right? But then they came out with the PS5 version. But because I bought the PS4 version, I couldn't play a PS5 because I bought the Game of the Year edition.
Oh,
and I didn't even play it yet. I didn't even start the game. And they wouldn't refund me. I'm going through all this chat. I call them, and I'm battling this for weeks, and they just wouldn't refund me. So I could just buy the normal version and not the Game of the Year version, just so I could play the remastered version on PS5. And I battle this to hell and back. If this was anybody else, I wouldn't even I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't even get to launch it, and you won't refund me. It doesn't make any sense.
But that's the thing with the showcase next week is when you watch all the Microsoft reveals, all of you guys are going to be like, "Oh man, I can play that day one."
Exactly.
No, that's really dope actually.
And you're basically knocking out two platforms instead of whereas Sony, you have to wait a couple years for their titles to come out on PC.
Yeah. And don't worry, Josh, you'll be one of us soon.
Hey, I just upgraded my parts, so I'm actually let's say Starfield, I'm playing on PC. Sorry.
I'm about to say, just send me whatever parts that you guys aren't using anymore, and I'll just
there you go. Josh will just wait patiently. He'll get all.
What Ryan or Dave? A fucking what is it? I think I have a 1650 Super. So this thing is like.
Hey, I mean 1080p. That'll do it. That'll do it at 1080p.
Yeah, so. But I don't know, like being able to hop in, you guys being able to hop on Game Pass games day one and not have to worry about, them being optimized or not is kind of, whereas I know The Last of Us was rough a couple months ago.
God, what a mess.
One of my regulars, he's strictly PC. He doesn't even own an Xbox or PlayStation, and he was excited to play it. And whenever he came in, he was like, that was just, I don't even know.
It's a pain. I've been waiting. I think it might be good now, but I haven't even looked at it. I'm just waiting a while and I'll come back to it. But listen, before I throw mine out there, I was thinking in terms of Game Pass, a game like High on Life, I beat it, no problem. I tried Atomic Heart. I didn't enjoy it that much, but at least I got to try it, right? For a few hours, fine. But a game like Starfield, I'm thinking this is where the argument goes the other way for me personally. I'm not a normal Game Pass subscriber year round. That game is going to take me more than a month to beat. I already know that, so that might be a game I actually just buy if I enjoy it. Maybe I'll try it first,
Look,
if I like it. I'm definitely
with some math, Rudy. Let me hit you with some math.
If they're giving
before you hit me, the math teacher with the math. A lot of the games that I buy day one are not on Game Pass. That's where it gets me, right? Like
I don't even believe that.
Street Fighter 6. Oh, well, I just named two $70 titles, right?
Got him.
CD keys $44.
You were all about Benedict Fox, right? Now you were whatever, and
no, I refunded that game because I hated it.
But what I'm saying is, I guarantee you, even 2 games a year, I'm sure you can get 2 games a year out of Game Pass. That's the cost of Game Pass. A whole
Depends
year
on the cost.
Is two games new at release. That's all.
Why don't I just do what I always do though, right? Buy the games I want, and then if it's a game I want to play that I can beat,
because you're going to play more than 2 games a year, and you're going to end up playing a lot more stuff, and you're going to start discovering a bunch of stuff you wouldn't normally play. Next thing you know, you're loving these titles you would have never found.
The thing is, I would say that's valid. Tim's arguments are valid, but the thing is though, we're not in a time where we're starving for game releases.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't play. I don't go the day that you see me go on Game Pass and discovered a new game I really like. I know exactly what I'm going to play when I turn on the computer. So it might not be.
2023 is not the year to say this. I agree, but
yeah.
And I mean,
if we were any other year,
and we all have backlogs.
This
and
is
stuff.
the year of dreams. So right now, I'm not going to worry about.
One thing is, if Microsoft was smart,
anyway,
they would. Hey, if you buy a game on Xbox, you can play it on your PC. If you buy it on your PC, you can play it on your Xbox. Yeah. Make it to where you own both games.
Starfield, I'm bouncing back and forth, to be honest. It just depends where I'm at.
And that's what's nice about No Man's Sky on my is on Game Pass on PC is I can play it on my Xbox, hop on my PC just to try it out to see how it runs on my PC versus my Xbox, and my game saves there because everything's in the cloud, and I don't have to do anything.
And dude, the other thing you have to consider too is I never buy games for full price on PC. I just bought Street Fighter 6 for $44. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. I understand. I get what you're saying. It's just, I guess the way I play games these days is like, I'm playing this game for a few weeks, then I'm playing this game for a few months. It's not like I stumbled into this game. It just doesn't.
Honestly, I wouldn't even try to argue for this year. There's too much to play.
Yeah, well, Starfield's getting an hour, so like just to think like how like for you guys to take an hour into Starfield, like there ain't no telling how big that game's gonna be.
I mean, it's gonna be huge, man. It's just like another.
I just hope it's a good huge.
Let's get into this next. We're killing time here. All right.
Wait, hold on. Let me throw my 3 out there. I didn't do mine yet.
My bad.
Mine are quick though. It's all right. FF16, just like everyone else. Yep. I'm super excited. I love the setting.
Yoshi P,
the old school medieval. It reminds me of like the triangle strategy. That's why I like that game so much, right? Like the warring families and all that. I'm all in, 100%. Wish it was coming to PC day one, but that's another story. Hollow Knight Silksong, we've talked about extensively. Yeah, don't have much more to say about that. Super pumped whenever that drops. And Armored Core 6, again, this is solely based on the goodwill that From Software has earned with me. Yeah. I've never played an Armored Core game. I like mech stuff. There's an old game I used to play way back in the game called DEF CON. It was awesome. It was like fighting the mechs versus the military, and that's my only point of reference to this, except From Software. So that's
I grew up with,
give it a shot, honestly.
Remember Mech Assault on the original Xbox?
Yeah, Mech Assault. Yep.
Okay.
So I think if anyone can make a mech game, I'm sure people like mech games already, but for me personally, it's not something I'm super interested in. But if anyone can make it something I am interested in, I think From Software can pull it off. So yeah, I'm excited. So yeah,
absolutely. Agree. And then 3 titles from the past. You're itching to get
should I just keep talking?
Keep talking.
I mean, just keep going?
Yeah,
okay, keep going. All right, so number 1, Persona 5 Royal. I've had this game sitting like an idiot. I bought it on PlayStation. Someone gave me like a PlayStation gift card a long time ago, and I bought it on PlayStation thinking I was going to play it like that week. I never did. And then it came out on Steam now, which I'd much prefer to have it on Steam. So now I have it sitting there. And you remember, you only get 1 refund in your lifetime in PlayStation. I use my 1 per life. I used my 1 per life.
5 Royal on Steam Deck. Talk about a godsend.
Yeah. The thing is, I tried Persona 4 and it was enjoyable, but I almost had the same thing happen to me that I had with Divinity, where I was like, I recognize this is a good game. It's just not gelling with me really for whatever reason. But Persona 5, I hear such great things. I'm not really into the whole sim, live your life, build relationships. Honestly, that part doesn't interest me as much. That's what kind of scares me a little bit. And the 100-hour playtime kind of scares me a little bit too. But I will one day get to that game. I don't know when, but I will one day get to that. Another one that is a similar vein in terms of length is the Xenoblade Chronicles games. I saw Dave play Xenoblade Chronicles 1 on Wii like freaking 15 years ago. Oh, yeah. I was like enamored. I was like, this is so cool. Wow, look at the world. I bought it on the new 3DS. Never played it.
The new 3DS.
And then I bought it on Switch. Played it for like 2 hours. I just don't know what it is. I just can't. And it was fun. I was enjoying it. So another one day. There it is. Tim's showing right there. Yep. I bought all the editions of that game. I even bought it from GameStop when it was like rare, and they were like, "Oh, back in stock for some crazy price."
For Operation Rainfall.
Xenoblade came out on the.
Right?
It probably is. Which
Xenoblade came out on the Wii U? Which one was that?
X.
Chronicles X.
Incredible.
I did play that one for a while. I played that one for a little while.
It's not a part of that series. It's a little sidestep almost. But
that instruction manual in that one was freaking.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's gotta be. I don't know that because I remember somebody trading that in a couple months ago at my old store, and I opened it up. I'm like, why in the frick is this thing so heavy? And now look at the instruction manual is like that freaking thick. I was like, excuse me. Like,
so
let me just say real quick. I want to go back to the times where game manuals were extravagant and thick and weighty. Right? Give me some manuals with color, please.
You'd read them. You'd read them in the car ride home. Oh my god, I can't wait to play this. Yeah, no more. But anyway, Xenoblade Chronicles, man, it's right up my alley. It's the exact kind of game that I like.
I'm sorry they're so long, Rudy, but they're so good.
I know. The way you talk about it and other people, man, it makes me.
I just finished 3. Like I took a whole year playing that stupid game. Well,
I know,
incredible. Man. But I loved every minute of it. But holy crap, was that long?
No, another one I'll eventually get to. And keeping the trend of 1 through 3 going, Dragon Age. Of course, I love the Mass Effect games. I really enjoyed a lot of BioWare games, but for whatever reason, I've never played through the Dragon Age games. So I would love to get to those sometime too. I have all 3 of them on Steam and just haven't played them. So
anyone else play Dragon Age?
Well, I know. What is it? I played 1 and 2, but man, what is it? Inquisition, I think.
Inquisition,
yeah.
If you actually look up some of the stats, apparently a couple of years ago, they said like only 10% of players have gotten out of the first area.
Wow,
because
I'm part of that 10%.
Yeah,
I love 1, like Origins, phenomenal game, one of best, like BioWare's best games. 2 was like, it's okay, I guess. I don't know. I thought 3 was a little better than 2. But it still was like the first.
But 1 is like the favorite.
Yeah.
Well, they are coming out with another Dragon Age. So
yes, that's why I want to play these before that comes out. So,
so we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, that's it for me.
Let's just go in order here, Dave.
Sure. I'm copying and pasting Rudy's list right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Those are big ones though that we all.
Oh well,
yeah.
What did you do with Xenoblade? You played 1. Did you do 2 and 3?
Nope, I have not touched anything beyond 1, and one of these days I'll get back to it. I have Xenoblade Chronicles on the definitive edition on my Switch, on my Steam Deck, ready to rock.
Which it runs 60.
Yeah, it runs pretty well.
That's good.
It's it is questionable at 60 once you get out of the uncluttered areas. I would say lock it to 30 to be safe, but I want to play it. It's just one of those games. This list of games is essentially a list of games that I have taken swings at numerous times and have either gotten knocked out by the game and just bowed out, or I just forgot it existed. And like Persona 5 Royal, I have about 70 hours in right now.
Oh, damn.
And I am nowhere near done. And I'm having a blast. But the thing is, we had to take a break because Zelda was coming out.
This is
I'm playing
70 hours in.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There are moments of repetitiveness, and there is definitely a systematic way of accomplishing things, I'll say. Yeah. But the characters and the story is phenomenal, and it's always evolving. They do some characters dirty later on, but that's neither here nor there. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay.
Xenoblade and Persona are both in that same camp, to where it's like, yeah, there's some cons to it, and there can be some big ones if you really can grind. I don't know. Like, I can understand some people having real big issues with them, but I just feel in the end, the pros far exceed any issues you could have with them.
Oh, for sure. And Persona 5 Royal especially is probably my least complaint-filled Persona game. You know what I mean? And it's every complaint I have about Persona 5 Royal is minuscule. It's not even important. It's very surface level. And besides those 2 epic RPGs that would take up all my time, I have Dragon's Dogma. With the announcement of the second one, I want to get back into the first one. The first one is one of those games I'll put in like 10, 15 hours in, and then it'll drop off the face of the earth. I'll come back a year later and I'm like, where was I? And I'll just start over. And then same cycle repeats itself. I got it on my Steam Deck.
Repeat myself. I did the same thing 2 different times. I got 10 hours in, fell off. I liked it. I don't know why. I don't know.
I think it's just because, like, while it doesn't do anything exceptional, everything it does very well. So there's not anything that really sticks out of your mind that is like that's what makes this game amazing. It's just everything they've done. It's done very, very well. And that is a very poor segue into my next game, Nier Automata, because
baby,
not only at Rudy's recommendation do I want to play this game. I don't think I've heard a single bad thing about it, and it's been on my hit list for the longest time. And Rudy is just the driving force to make me finally do it.
I actually get mad when people say it's so stupid that there's multiple playthroughs. Nope, it's like
people are
the
so dumb. Don't
thing
even
I've
start
ever
it. Oh,
experienced. Like
oh yeah,
A, B, C, D. It's so It's so awesome how they handle it. It's
Dude,
my
ending A
favorite
is like
thing in the game.
the ending A is like reading 20 out of 100 pages of a book. Like you're nowhere near the end. You know, people don't get that. I wish they would frame the language around this differently. Like,
no, they do it on purpose. They're playing with.
But they even tell you when you beat the game, they say, "Congratulations, there is way more to go. Continue, don't stop." Like they say it so much, but
yeah, and you know that's I think the biggest crux with my list of games is they're all not short games. So it's like when I take on one of these, I'm going to have to take on one of them.
They're actually way shorter than those others.
I think I took like 40 something hours for
comparatively.
Yeah,
comparatively to these games, abso-freaking-lutely, but 40 hours is not a small game. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Rudy knows how I play games too. So 40 hours, even though it says, "Oh yeah, it'll take you 40 hours," double it, and then that's where I'm at. So that's just how I play games. But yeah, that's my list.
All of these games, excited. Nier is the best. Like, if you're into philosophy or into just, I don't know, studying,
questioning your whole life's existence,
all of that stuff.
Listen, you're talking to somebody who has about half a lizard brain rattling around in here. That's that might be too much for me, but
I love it.
Well, Dave, hold on. Before we move on, I will say one last thing I want to point out, so it makes Dave want to play this more, maybe shame him into it or something. At one point, you know, Dave was talking to me about how good Chrono Trigger is. You know, all time great. I said, and Tim said it too. You know, and I was like, you know what, guys? I respect your opinion. You know, I'll get to it. And, you know, it came up some more here and there. Every time I talk about playing a new game, Dave's like, "Yo, Rudy, it's on sale. Go get it on Steam." You know what, Dave? I'm going to go get it right now. So I got it. And I started playing it. I was a little slow at first, but then I just, boom, sucked me in. It's so good. Man, this game's awesome. And I beat the whole thing, did everything there was to do. I probably spent like, it's not that long, right?
It's
maybe
not.
like 20 something hours.
I would say 20 if to get
something
everything.
Like yeah. Anyway, I said, Dave, you know, let's make a deal. I beat Chrono Trigger, you beat Nier. He's like, deal. So I'm just saying, ball's in Dave's court now. So
ball's been in my court.
I'll even go further and say Nier is the better game.
Yo, that ball has been in my court and it is dusty, dog. Let me tell you.
But I'm glad. All jokes aside, I'm so glad I played it because I was missing a really great game. Right? Fantastic. Awesome. But yeah, Nier to me is the top.
Nier's better. Yeah.
About to say Dave's missing
needs to be or any of that, but yeah.
About to say Dave's missing one game on his list, and that's that unpatched version of Mass Effect on the 360. That's what I think, maybe 15 hours max. I think. Well, actually, no, you got to count load times on the original 360.
I don't know. Is there a torture section that I should be putting that under? Or
I mean, that's the elevator, yeah, because it's like a minute and a half ride every time. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, I will say though, just to be sure though, Dave, they did patch Nier on Steam, right? Because when I played it, the cutscenes were all screwed up, like 30 FPS.
I've heard they patched it. Yeah.
The one negative I will say
took somebody's mod and implemented it into the game.
Yeah.
Basically, the fire mod. Yeah.
Yeah. The only negative I'll say for anyone who's listening who might want to play Nier at some point, as much as I've talked about it, is the map is freaking horrible. That's the only, in my opinion, bad part of the game. It's terrible. But
there's probably mods for
it's
that.
A lot of it in the beginning of the game. So I hate that the beginning is as rough as it is.
I hate the map so much. But the shifting of let me not start. Never mind. I'll be here all night. Okay.
All right. What about you, Josh? What do you got on your list since you're under me?
I mean, I wanted to play Hi-Fi Rush. I just haven't started it yet.
I do want to play that too.
That game, phenomenal,
incredible. Yeah. I would literally critic review 9.5. I mean,
it was a shadow drop game, so it was like one of those that like Bethesda came out and was like, oh hey, by the way, this is out, and we're like, wait, what? And then the art style, I love Jet Set Radio Future growing up.
You'll love this game.
It's that cell shaded. I never played Dishonored 1 and 2, wanted to, and I know it's on Game Pass now, so you know, and everybody's telling me to try Deathloop, and I'm like, I want to play Dishonored 1 and 2 first. So.
On Xbox too, 4K 60, just straight up. So
yeah, that's what I saw on there too. And then you know, as weird as it was, and I heard mixed reviews, I wanted to play Scorn because Scorn looked just
worth it.
I enjoyed Scorn. Very, very cool, wacky game.
It's weird. It's hard to say you'll like it or not, but you should still try. You have Game Pass.
And that's the thing is everybody's like, just try and hey, if you don't like it, you can
the thing with Scorn is it's not a great game, but as an artistic experience, it's one of the more unique ones out there. Kind of like the Unfinished Swan, that game. Not a great game, but the experience you get from it is extremely unique. I never finished it. I just thought the puzzles were too obtuse and not in a good way. It was just
I've just heard nothing but good things about Dishonored 1 and 2. So
those games
are
some good.
That's why people are like, with Redfall, they're like, how do you go from making those phenomenal ass games to making Redfall?
We're gonna get into it, not this week because we don't have enough time, but expect in next week's episode. I'm getting into it. Jason Schreier, yet again, killing it with a.
Josh, I'm gonna add something for you. Also, play this.
Death of the Outsider.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say play the DLCs.
God, what the?
For sure.
Mass Effect. Is it Mass Effect 1 unpatched on the 360?
Play the DLCs of Dishonored. You need to do that.
We gotta add that for Dave.
It's like we have to add that for Dave. Mass Effect. And make sure it's the non-HDMI 360. It's the original.
The comp cables.
The component cable.
720i.
I don't even think that game ran at 720. Actually, I think it did. Barely.
Josh, before we move on, I'd say fire up Scorn. Do it on a quiet night by yourself. Put some headphones on. The sound design is really, really good.
Gross.
And it's very that's literally what it sounds like.
We didn't need a replay, Tim.
That's why I play. That's a lot of reasons why I play most titles if they're multi-platform. I play them on Xbox because Xbox has Dolby Atmos.
Yeah.
So most games I try to stick, like Jedi Survivor. I got on my Xbox because of Dolby Atmos and. Yeah, that sound.
Dude, I did play Scorn with the 3D audio. It was so disgusting.
It's freaking gross. Yo,
I'm gonna have to.
If you make it all the way to the end of that game, the end will leave you messed up. I just sat in silence, staring at my screen for 10 minutes.
He's just like, what the heck is that? Messed up. That's the thing too. Is thankfully, with the Dolby Atmos, it's playing Destiny 2 is a whole different experience than before. Sure. Because I was so used to just having a mono soundbar versus this Dolby Atmos, and I'm like, damn, I was missing all this sound, all this time.
There's a guy coming from the bottom right, not
and I can hear every footstep, little wave of the ocean, it's wild. I didn't, best investment.
Okay.
All right, Tim, what do you got?
I purposely didn't put it in here because I wanted to keep mine hidden. So I have Dragon's Dogma. I just have to. Sure. Everyone just never shuts up about it, and I feel really bad. I haven't just played through that.
I also will never shut up about it. I've played that game. Like I said, I've started that game a bunch of times, and I've done a different class every time, and I have a blast every time. But some other game just comes out and just takes my attention away.
Now, actually, Rudy is what got me to eventually play Nier, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with Rudy here and say I have to play Disco Elysium. So,
yeah, man. You won't regret it. I'm telling you.
Then speaking with Rudy again, Final Fantasy VI. So I got halfway through, stopped because this game came out and I had to jump. I forget what it was. Now I'm on.
Wait, did you actually get halfway, Tim? Did you see the thing yet or not? Okay,
we'll know if you got halfway. We'll know.
You did see it?
Yes. The event,
and then I turned it off, and I wanted to because I'm saving I'm listening to a podcast. It's called.
Oh, they're going through it, right?
Yeah. What is it called? State of the Art, and they go into different games. Right now, they're doing Nier Automata. So I'm 5 episodes into them dissecting that game. So I'm playing along, and they set it up in a way of you can play along with them. So whenever you do get to that, Dave, first of all, I think you will like State of the Art, but play it along with them. I think that's really cool. Anyway, cool. So I'm definitely playing along with them. The problem is I can't stop Zelda right now. But I get it. I have to get back to 6, and I will.
It's just when I played 6, I feel like the reason why I loved it so much is it was continuous, and I know that's hard to do right now with all these great games.
I know, but it's real hard right now. It's real hard right now.
Yeah, sure.
Mega Man Legends 2. I played the first one of my favorite games, beat it like 15 times. It's like legendary in my head. I don't even know why. I don't even think it's that good of a game. I don't know. It's just for some reason it just hits different.
Dude, how you describe that is how I describe Brave Fencer Musashi on the PS1.
Oh man, like, Musashi.
Same exact thing. I know it's not good, but man, is it a good game?
Can we get it to come back? I want to play that game again so bad. God.
Mega Man Legends 2, though, I never actually played through this game.
Never played that one.
And I need to play it. So there's that. And then Marvel Midnight Suns, I really want like an XCOM type game. And I think this actually would be a lot of fun. I'm not a big Marvel person or superhero guy at all, really. But this is the one exception to where like I can't stop thinking about this game, and I want.
Yeah, I've heard so many good things. Like one of my regulars, like he swears by it. He's like you've got to play it before you can understand that it's actually a really good game.
And like Persona, it really dives into a lot of great character building. And I really want to play it for that reason too. And then last, Front Mission. I've never played a Front Mission game. It's like tactics, like mech sort of game. And they just redid them. They did Front Mission. It's on Switch right now, and it's about to hit Steam, I want to say. And they're also doing 2 and 3 as well. So I need to play the remake of Front Mission and really give that a shot because I love tactics games. And that's like the one I just never got to play, and I feel it'll be right up my alley. It always looks super cool to me.
Yeah. Dude, I am not big into tactics RPGs either, so much so that I have never completed Final Fantasy Tactics, even though I recognize it's a great game. But Front Mission on like the old SNES with an English patch, I had a blast with that when I was younger, man. I thought it would start like a love affair with tactical RPGs. It didn't, but at least I remember that
Front
game.
Mission is in that Square Enix HD 2D thing too.
Yeah.
And it looks
really
and cool.
It looks really neat.
I want to play it. Anyway, those are mine.
All right. Very cool. All right, wait, guys, just to interject real quick. When we do this,
he's like,
all right.
I have some choice
into
words.
What we're watching, what we're playing. Right. Let's see who goes. Let's say Josh. Josh will go first here.
Oh Lord. I mean, I don't want to say still playing, but I just finished Jedi Survivor.
Nice.
So, love the story. Obviously, I don't want to spoil it because I don't know if anybody else has played it, but
I have yet to touch it just because of the issues. I know console was a lot better, but I do want to play it on PC.
Well, what's wild with the console is I played it on fidelity. I just played it on 4K 30, and I had a good experience the whole time. I don't know what the deal was with everybody else. I thought the game.
No. I think if you locked it to 30 on console, it stayed there and you were good.
Yeah,
I just wanted to play at a higher frame rate, but whenever you shift it to the 60, it never stayed. It just went.
Yeah, the 60 on console, like it made the game look night and day. It just didn't look that great because I got so used to the lighting and how everything looked.
Yeah.
But I mean, just playing it the way it was really good. I
just want to know, did you like the story?
Oh yeah, I definitely liked it better than the first one as far as traversal and the maps and everything. It wasn't as it didn't feel very it didn't feel very hallway. It was more literally. I tell people it was like it's almost like Breath of the Wild with Star Wars. Because the maps are actually.
I'm excited to play it. It looks cool.
Yeah, the map sizes are pretty good considering they spent probably half the game and during COVID protocol. So for them to actually pump out that good of a game for, COVID was actually pretty surprising.
I'll cut this out, but Dave, is it cracked?
I have no idea. I don't want to look up anything about the game because I recently dove headfirst into Star Wars and I'm loving it. I've watched everything pretty much and I love it. And I thought the first game was really good. It had some flaws, but it was pretty good. And I'm excited for this one, but I haven't looked up anything about the game because we all know how Star Wars likes to do and where they just drop a bomb like midway through the game or 3/4 through the game. It's like, hey, remember this? And then your brain gets blown out of your ass for a second. And then, So I don't want to look up anything.
Right?
Yeah. I don't want to look up anything about the game because I want to play it when I'm ready to play it. And then when the
have a sex
game
scene
runs
with Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Sign me up. I'll download it today.
He's like, I'll download it today. But like, I just recently re-downloaded Destiny 2 because the Season of the Deep just dropped, and I loved Titan in year one when that game came out. So I want to hop back into that, especially with the Final Shape teaser they showed last week for PlayStation.
I need to take advantage of my connection with you, and you get me into Destiny, because I keep trying. I love how it controls and feels. I feel it's like it may be the best feeling shooter that exists, and I really want to get into it.
Some people just go into that game and they just like, oh, I got to get everything. I got to do gear. And it's like, your gear is not going to matter in the next, like, I mean, it'll matter. But if you're just playing it casually like I do, I don't play it for competitively. Like it's an enjoyable game competitively or casually.
Now, on the other side of the spectrum, I have 100 hours in Destiny 2 plus only in PvP, because even though the PvP is horribly unbalanced and it changes, the balance shifts like every other week, I swear.
Exactly.
But
we're going to nerf this weapon, but we're going to buff this one.
Yeah.
The game again.
Exactly.
It's funny Dave is saying this, because that's the only thing when I load up Destiny 2, all I do is go to PvP because I think it's super fun.
Yeah, that's the thing, dude. You hit the nail on the head. It controls like a gosh dang dream. Like that game, they did a good job.
Whatever engine Bungie is using to run that game, like they just need to
dynamite, dude.
Perfect it. But my thing is like,
I'll try to play through the stories, and I'll try to play the strikes and whatever. And I'm so bored because I have so much more fun playing the PvP, and I just
same here.
But that's the thing is, hey, Telesto broke the game again. We're gonna have to, patch it, and because they've taken that, they've actually had to lock that gun probably at least a dozen times because it keeps breaking the game and crashing people's games. I don't know what it is with Telesto only, but it was just that gun. But just those two titles, besides just to keep an eye out for what Xbox is gonna show next week, and those are the games that I diving into. And then I don't really watch many like TV shows or anything like that, but like I'm watching Superman and Lois right now.
All right.
As a dad, watching that show and seeing Superman's already established, his kids are grown or teenagers, and seeing what he's dealing with, it's like, this is, what you guys should have done with the character to begin with. Like, we're seeing what he's going through as a parent, and you relate to it more as a parent because you're like, oh, his kids are like, oh, you don't listen to me, or you're not spending enough time with me, and you're just like, man, he's Superman, and he's having to deal with these, human issues. But with everything else going on with DC and it being, just right now, it's so up in the air. It's kind of hard to get excited for that show because I don't know if it's going to get a season 4. I'm hoping that Max, excuse me.
Get
it right. Can we all agree that's the dumbest thing I've ever?
Yeah, excuse me. I hope Max picks it up and has a season 4 so they can maybe close out the show how they want. Like, just give them one more season to be able to close out everything. But I don't know. I just don't really watch a whole lot of stuff. I mean, I just watched Knock at the Cabin last night, and that movie fucked me up. Excuse my language, but
might have to watch.
Oh man, that was
same.
That was a lot. M. Night Shyamalan's just a whole nother you get the Man in Black, but
my man is still shook.
Yeah, like I watched Old last year, and that movie still fucks me up now. So it's like,
I saw that one. That was
weird. That movie was a trip.
So yeah, that movie was just like, man, you know what, M. Night Shyamalan, next time I'm gonna drink when I watch one of your movies.
Is this streaming anywhere, or is it only in theaters right now?
It's Knock at the Cabin is on Peacock.
Oh, hell, that's it. Thank you, Josh. I know what I'm doing.
You're welcome. And what's great too is because I use my buddy's Peacock, but I have a profile on there. Is I think it was like you had to watch like ads for like 2 minutes, and then you could watch the movie. But it actually is in 4K and has Dolby Atmos for a streaming service. So,
all right, Peacock, let's go.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, all right, dang, And same thing with Max is they just updated the app, and I tried out Batman vs Superman with Dolby Atmos yesterday, and I was like, man, you guys actually upgraded all of this stuff, huh? I'll take it. Like, other than that, I don't, not really playing anything else at the moment besides those two and watching Superman and Lois. So
fair enough.
All right.
Very cool. All right.
Rudy.
All right, I'll go, and I can kind of loop Dave into this first one here because we've been playing together, but we've been playing Street Fighter 6. I honestly wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to grab Street Fighter just because, I have Zelda and other things. But I was like, I just think of how much fun I've had in the past with going all the way back to like Street Fighter 2, playing with my brothers, or 4 with Dave and a few buddies in college, 5. So I was like, come on, let's do it again. So we grabbed it, and man, we played for what, Dave, maybe like a total of like 3 hours total, like 3 or 4 hours maybe. Yeah, and I had so much fun. Like, God, it's such a good game. It's super impressive. The first night we were kind of like playing separately because custom games weren't working yet, so we're like playing random people online. The connection is great. Everything works flawlessly. The game looks very good. It feels perfect. That's the most important thing, obviously, in a fighting game. No input delay. It feels great. It looks great. And it's just, I feel like they've taken, Street Fighter has always been, actually, I think Dave and I had a conversation not too long ago about how we've kind of moved away from Street Fighter because it's just like, we play Smash Bros where it's like muscle memory and throw in, knowing what buttons to press, versus Street Fighter like memorizing combos. And we were like, we're kind of over that, right? But what I like about this game is they kind of simplify it. It's not a simple game, but it's much more simplified now. It's like you have 3 super moves. You have some new, I'm not going to get into it because it's like a whole thing, but there's some new mechanics that are very easy to use, but you can do a lot with them, right? There's like your unique moves for each character. Yeah, you play a few matches and you got them. Like, it's not hard anymore. So I feel like this might be the most accessible Street Fighter in a long, long time, honestly.
Oh yeah, I'll agree with that 100%.
Yeah, even if you're not a fighting game person per se, because they like scare you off, I think this is a good one to get into.
Isn't Street Fighter 6, doesn't it have some open world elements to it?
It does as well. It has like I haven't touched it really. I played in a demo a little bit. Tim, I think you messed with the demo a little bit, right? I haven't messed with it
the first chapter of it, and I thought it was cool.
Gotcha.
But it weirdly has performance issues. I don't get what's going on.
Gotcha. Yeah. So for me personally, that's not really my thing, but I love that it's there because there are plenty of people who will play the single player mode only and they'll enjoy it. Yeah. It's there for you, which is great. So, and the last thing I'll say in terms of being accessible, I was looking at the list that you told me, Dave, the character list. Man, you can pick any character in this game and you have tons and tons and tons of info where they'll walk you through how to do every single move. You can't pass until you do the move properly. Then they'll take the move and add a little punch to it. Now you have a combo. Like, they really will walk you through everything. So really enjoying it a ton so far. So,
and I mean, like, I know I spoke with Rudy about this offline, but the thing about Street Fighter 6 is it feels like the most complete fighting game that, like, it's got like the whole package. It feels like, where it's like a robust campaign, robust versus options, a super in-depth training mode where it covers everything you want to know. And on top of that, they got the modern controls, which simplifies the entire game down to just a couple button presses to pull off a 7-hit combo. And it's like, awesome. They're trying to make it appeal more to the casual people, and I hope it does. I wish them the best of success, man, because
didn't they spend like game. 6 or 7 years on this game? Because
like,
it came out in what, 2015 or 2016, I think.
Street Fighter 5 came out in 2016. Yep, February 2016.
So they've spent ample time on
6 years. Yeah, over 7 years.
That was right before what, 2016, you said?
Yep.
So that was before the Switch even came out, like way before. Yeah. So,
nuts, man.
That's a long time
to make myself look like an idiot, and I never know what to do about this, and it drives me crazy. Is like the only reason I like playing Street Fighter or Tekken, not Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat or Tekken or any other fighter, is I can't do the circles. I don't know. I've tried it my entire life since I was a kid. And I always mess them up, and I can never do any moves because I can't get the circles right. If I can just hit left or right, and like, I can memorize moves. So if I just hit like a button combination, I'm good. I just can't do the circles.
All right, now hold up. I have something for you. You're open to playing on PC, right?
Yeah.
Have you thought about using your keyboard?
Yeah, when he said this, I was
dude. I'm not gonna lie. I am like a keyboard gospel man now. Like I was making like a joke where it's like I'm gonna get a stick, so I'll just practice on the keyboard to kind of get used to pushing individual buttons. And it turns out, dude, I love it, man. Like I actually almost regret getting this fight stick and not getting a hitbox that has the buttons for arrows instead of a stick. Only because playing with a keyboard and using WASD and your quarter circle is just SD. That's a quarter circle. You did a quarter circle by just doing SD.
Dude, I would be so happy.
Yeah, try it out, dude. I would say try it out. It's honestly not that bad. It's really not. And I
always wish I could
it.
just hit the buttons and not spin the stick.
And I mean, the modern controls, I haven't delved deep into the modern controls yet, but I know they have a dedicated special button.
That makes it a little too easy for me. I'm not trying to go there. I'm just talking about the joystick.
Yeah,
I'm okay hitting 10 buttons. I just don't want it to be a joystick.
Yeah,
I also want to point out, in case anyone's listening is unsure, the modern controls, not my thing really, but
Same.
there are also trade-offs, right? It's easier to do it, but you do some less damage, right? They balance it out well, so
you can't be broken. But
right.
They also made it to where like you can actually use it well in competitive play, because sometimes you need less power and to do something real quick instead of doing a whole bunch of buttons. It taking a little longer for more power. You might want that small little tap to get it what you need. So they worked with that. I saw that. It looked really cool.
No, but they did a great job in this game. Definitely our next experiment, which I'll be talking about next week, is the arcade sticks. We're gonna try to start getting good with those. So
because I wanted to always play that DBZ Fighters game. But I can't get the quarter turns right. So I just suck. Anyway.
I would say, man, if you have any good typing skills, think about trying a keyboard legitimately. Like I put 4 or 5 hours in.
I'm not even questioning it. I'm going to try it.
Yeah, game felt great, honestly. Okay. So I think you'd like it. Let me know how you feel about it when you do try it.
All right. Okay. And then next one is, of course, Zelda, which... most of us are playing.
First, Dave, I mean, what do you think on this? Me and Rudy have talked on it, but where are you at?
Yeah, what do you think?
Oh, Tears of the Kingdom. Oh, man. We got time for this? Because I can go off. So
I don't know. Just say what you feel you just need to say. I don't know.
So I think the game is fantastic and probably the best sandbox I've ever seen in any video game ever. It literally just puts you in the middle of a sandbox and gives you every toy you could imagine under the sun and just says, hey, go wild. I love it. The performance is spotty. It's not the best. I'm playing it 2 methods. I have it running emulated with Yuzu at 60 FPS, and my beast of a rig cannot hold a solid 60, which kind of 6. Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a tank, let me tell you. But it can't maintain a solid 60, but it's still fine. Like I that's my preferred method to play. Now on the Switch, it's at an almost locked 30, but it feels fine. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like it's bad frame pacing or anything like that. It feels like the frame times are perfectly good until you get those very obvious drops below 30 in like certain villages, like
a village or pulling out power in a specific area, something like that.
Exactly. But the thing is, like they like developed this game and optimized it so well for a console that uses 7 watts of power to just run this game surprisingly well. And I know there's a lot of discourse about, but it only runs at 30 FPS. But like, have you played a game that's at a good 30 FPS versus a game that's at a bad 30 FPS? Right. And it's just the frame timing that they do where they optimize it so there's just the perfect, like the exact same amount. I'm going to get a little technical, sorry. But the milliseconds between frames generated, it just is smooth. It's consistent. And when 30, it has consistent frame times, it feels perfectly serviceable. And that's coming from an FPS snob like myself. But 30 with a constant frame time is serviceable. And that's where Zelda sits performance-wise on the Switch for the most part. There are some trouble spots, but again, 7-year-old console running on 7 watts of power. It's incredible. For just give them props for pulling off what they did. Now, game aside, I'm sure you guys have already talked about how good the game is. I'm sure there's not anything I can add to it to make it better, but I'm just saying I'm having a blast. It doesn't deserve all the discourse.
On like where you're seeing this game compared to just other games, let's say this year or just overall period since the beginning of gaming is like, so why I'm wondering this is last episode I said something I didn't think I was going to say. One, this is my favorite video game I've ever played. I'm going there with it, which is really weird because I've never done it. Like, not so soon. That just feels stupid. I feel like I shouldn't be saying this, but I don't care because I just believe it. Like,
how you feel?
Like it really is that strong of just like, this is the best video game I've ever played. It feels like a pinnacle rise of like, we started on Atari and we just kept climbing so we could hit this moment. It's like what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I can guarantee you this is going to be one of those games that just influences every other major video game moving forward, and probably countless indie titles. Like, they really did do something special with this game, and they solved problems in only ways that I think Nintendo could solve problems, like the weapon durability. Who in their right mind would have thought, what if we just throw a rock on that sword and now it's stronger and it has more durability now, and rocks are everywhere, so you can now just, there goes the weapon durability problem solved. And it's just,
I can pull back an episode that you were even on where we were trying to discuss how do they solve this, right? What do they do with weapon durability? Right. Because we can apply mods to make it where it's like 2 times longer, 5 times longer, 10 times, or just not at all. But it never felt right. And it's like, well, how do they address it? Because we know there's a little thing there with Breath of the Wild where we're like, man, we wish it was different, but I don't know how they could fix it. They did it. They achieved it.
And only Nintendo could come up with some wacky ass thing of taping a rock to your sword, and now it's better. Like, and that's just something that's special about, like, just one of the many things that they did in this game that makes it truly special. I don't know if I would say it's the best game ever. I'm not that far into it yet. But I will say,
hours in.
I have a lot of hours, but when I say I'm not far into it, I mean I've done one dungeon.
Me too, actually. Well, no. I just finished the second one. Sorry, my bad.
I'm not even as far as you guys, but I'm really enjoying just a lot of times these days with games, I'll be looking up like, how far am I? How much do I have left? Whatever. Even if I'm enjoying it. This game, I truly feel content. Just I'll pick it up. I'll do a few shrines. I might do a mission. And it's fine. I'm really taking my time. Usually by now I'd be much further, but the way things have happened, it's that, and I'm fine with it,
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to you seeing a story moment, which there are actually cool bits, or you seeing the next like major point or like quest or anything. What I want you to get to are these points to where there's certain points in the map where Breath of the Wild, it felt like, okay, you're just traversing for like a minute or 2 or 3 before you release something big. This is just super dense, like Elden Ring levels.
Yeah, it is.
Just anything, everything everywhere. But I want you to just explore like a random like canyon and understanding the complexity of that single canyon of what it involves. That's where like this game gets incredibly great.
All right.
And when you start getting the edgings of the map for some reason, you start seeing all of these things that completely blew my mind on like I don't know, the density of the cave system, which I won't go further, or just finding a pocket in the terrain that you wouldn't expect to be there, and just how weirdly vast it becomes than what it looked like from the outside.
Yeah, and I mean, let me slam the brakes real quick because I know we can talk about this game forever, but I'm just gonna move on to my next game because, man, I could literally go on for hours about what they've done in that game. It's truly incredible. But another thing I've been playing is the System Shock remake, and it's great, dude. It's really, really good. Like, it's staying respectful to the original, which is an extremely cumbersome experience if you try to play it now. But man, they did a really good job, and the art style is so interesting. Like, when you watch it, you're not really aware of the art style if you're watching gameplay until you start looking closer. Because when you look closer, you see like pixelizing around the blood and stuff. Like, it looks pixelated, and it's actually a really neat, like, modern retro aesthetic that I'm really digging. And I mean, if you're a big fan of actual immersive sim games and, you know, like the earlier Deus Ex games really appeal to you, I could definitely say pick it up. You'll have a blast. But just know that it's an immersive sim at its core. So you're not going to have objective markers. You're not going to have big arrows saying, "Hey, push this button." It's no, you got to look for the button. You got to find it. You got to find the key cards to open up the doors. It's a really immersive experience, and I can't recommend it enough. And it's only $40. If you got $40 laying around and you got that itch, please play it. It's really good.
I want to call Tears of the Kingdom immersive sim. I've been thinking about that lately.
I mean,
I don't know.
I could see the argument for it.
I could definitely see the argument for it.
The core of those style of games is, how do you want to approach this next thing? And here's all these tools at your disposal, and you can do whatever you want in this space.
Yeah, go have fun. Here's all this stuff. Go have fun.
Yeah. I guess by that logic, it has to be right. Multiple approaches.
Yeah, but but definition and experience are two different things.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Like when I play a game like let's say
Deus Ex is immersive sim, I would say.
Let's say Deus Ex. I feel like maybe it's because of the perspective or what, but I feel like I'm playing in this world and I'm part of it. And Zelda does that too, to an extent, but the experience of actually playing the game, it's not, I would never look at it and be like, I am immersed in this simulator. You know what I mean? Like,
I am immersed here.
I don't know.
I get
it's a good question. It's a really good.
I've been thinking about it. I'm not sold on this idea. I've just been thinking about it.
I could definitely see your opinion on that for sure.
Because I played the demo and it made me start thinking on this. Which, go play that demo. You'll love it. I'm sold on it because of it. So
it's a great game.
I'm gonna get to that for sure. By the way, Dave, before you continue, I think we got jumbled up. Let me just throw this last thing in here real quick because it's okay. I wanted to quickly mention about Spider-Man, which I saw today, and holy crap, this movie is incredible. Like, I was not even when everyone talked about Into the Spider-Verse, I eventually watched it and I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, but I wasn't really like going as crazy as everyone else for whatever reason. Although there's a lot of stuff in there that I personally like that's not like, some people might not find it important, but for me personally, you know, I used to live in New York City. I worked there for many years. The culture there I'm very familiar with. So seeing that displayed in this big $1 million movie for everyone to see in America is really cool to me personally. So that was the first thing I thought was cool about it, right? But the first one I thought was whatever, it's cool. This movie is on another level, man. I think it's probably the best Spider-Man movie. I know that's crazy to say, and it's hard for me to say that when I think of the originals because those are like my favorite.
Into the Spider-Verse was my favorite Spider-Man movie. So
and that's the thing. Like, people already loved Into the Spider-Verse, and I was like on the outs of that a little bit. Like, I thought I liked it. It's fine.
I just don't know how you could say that when Spider-Man 3 exists.
Yo, Spider-Man 3? Man. No, but this movie, honestly, I don't want to say much about it because you should go in as blind as possible. But, of course, you already know the animation is, like, off the hook. It's even better than the first one. It's, like, way better than the first one. The music was already good in the first one. They added to it. But the really my favorite part of it is the story, and the characters are so well done. I never thought I'd watch an animated Spider-Man film and love it as much as any of the live action ones. Like the best live action ones, this is better to me.
Well, did you you saw that this week that they announced that they are doing a live action Miles Morales?
I missed that. I did not know that. Okay,
they dropped the news this week that they're going to be doing a
dude, and it's so cool because they nail the whole New York City vibe so well. It's like so well done. It blends in, but it's not like the focus of the movie. It's like this fantastical Marvel stuff, but also just a city kid growing up trying to make it, you know, which I love. I love that aspect because we've done that before with Peter Parker, but it's cool with Miles Morales now, you know, this Puerto Rican kid, you know, different part of the city. It's just a cool idea. And I think they pulled it off excellently. And the next one's coming out a year from now. So even better, less than a year, March. I think, next year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you guys are gonna love it. It's really, really fantastic. So, yep.
Can't wait, man. I'm excited
Throw that
for
one
it.
In there.
But yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave. Okay.
I completely did jumble up.
No, because we were both playing those games.
But yeah, so I've been watching a lot of Naruto, and just for all the listeners out there, I am okay. Just because I watched Naruto and Naruto Shippuden and now I'm starting Boruto, I am okay. I'm not in any distress. I have been skipping all filler and I have been sticking to strictly the canon episodes. And so I haven't watched
list that you can share that you were following or anything. That
look up. I just did like animefillerlist.com.
Okay.
That's literally the name of the website.
Okay.
And it just tells you which episode is filler. And let me tell you, Naruto is a fine anime. It is a product of its time. Watching this as a 30-something-year-old man made me very nostalgic for like old Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and stuff, because it follows a lot of those tropes. Some of the fight scenes are dope, and I would even wager that a lot of the fight scenes in the OG Naruto are better than a lot of the major fights in Naruto Shippuden, because like they get so powerful in Shippuden that they're just basically doing Power Rangers Megazord battles. And it's like, that's cool, but I don't want to just watch 15 minutes of a dude standing like this inside of a giant fox or whatever for 20 minutes. Like give me that raw punch in the face, doing a drop kick and like Rasengan to your face. Like that stuff is dope. When that happens, top tier anime fight scenes. But then I don't know. It's good. It's fine.
I'm always scared to skip filler because, like, with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, like, a lot of people, like, have issues with the filler, but I think the filler are the best episodes. I'm, like, the reverse. I just love the building of it all. So I don't know what to do with Naruto, because I'm always like, well, I never agreed with people when they said they didn't like the filler of Dragon Ball, because I loved it.
I tried some filler of Naruto, and let me tell you, within 30 seconds of the episode starting, you will be like, this is inconsequential. It is unimportant. No one's going to remember this episode. So no one talks about the filler when they talk about Naruto. They talk about the main story and the fight scenes. So that's all I did. I watched nothing but the manga canon stuff, and let me tell you, it was good. It was fine. I do have qualms with it. They cannot write a single good female character to save their life. I shit you not, boys. I have started Boruto, and there's a female character who I will not name, but she goes from ninja to wife and mother. And in the first 14 episodes of Boruto, she is in the kitchen. That's it. She is always in the kitchen washing the dishes or doing something. I'm like, this is what you did to a badass ninja girl. You done her like this. It's like they can't write a good female character to save their life. But overall, I can see why people like compare it to Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, GT, all that stuff. It's not bad. It's a fine anime. It's got some problems, but it's mostly stemming from the time it released. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just going to leave it at that. I can keep going, but we ain't got all night. So I would say if you're interested in watching a shonen anime, go for it. Grab a filler list for the love of God. But
my kid watched all of Naruto Shippuden, and I was kind of watching from the sidelines. And yeah, I kind of like, I liked what I saw, but I still wasn't like loving what I saw, I guess I could say.
I would say if you watch all the manga canon stuff, skip every flashback you see, because it's just so bad with flashbacks, dude. Like they will spend 15 minutes to go over something that took 30 seconds in the episode prior, and they will make it a 15-minute flashback. So just skip it. There's even this thing called Naruto Kai that you could find online where someone edited down every episode and removed all the fluff, and they put it in like hour-long episodes, and it was like 70 episodes long. Their links are down now, I think, but if you could find those, watch those instead. I would recommend it over doing
one more thing. Sorry. The beginning though, like I did watch like the first like 20-30 episodes, and I thought it was really funny. Like I thought Naruto was like hilarious, and like all the like, I don't know, stupid, immature, pervy things he was doing, I actually thought was hilarious. And that's what was like getting me into to begin with, is I thought it was a lot funnier than I was expecting, but I don't know if that continues.
Honestly, yeah, it does. Like Naruto doesn't really change as much as like in a personality. He grows. Like he really grows as a character and becomes a truly good character by the end of wherever out of the frick I'm at now. But like he becomes a good character, but his personality is still very dumb and naive, but still well-meaning. So it still retains that. I'm still laughing at stupid stuff that Naruto does, even when he's portrayed later in the show.
I wasn't expecting to have some comedy in it, and that was cool. Yeah.
And there's quite a bit, even if you skip spoilers. I mean, not spoilers, skip fillers. There's still plenty of comedy to be had. There is a lot of more seriousness to it. But if you're looking for a shonen anime, watch it, skip the filler. Trust me, it's not good, and you'll be all right.
I mean, you're not the only person who've said this, so
yeah. It's egregious how bad the filler is in that show sometimes, man. Like it's an affront to humanity. I mean, oh God, some of it's just terrible. Like I don't want to spend 20 minutes finding out what Kakashi looks like under his mask. No, like I don't care. Show me the cool fights.
That's hilarious.
But that's where I'll leave that. So
okay. Yeah, we already talked Zelda. The only thing is I played Rock Band for the first time.
All right.
First
time.
First time.
No,
Wow.
I haven't played since
It was like Dave's Mass Effect all over again.
Oh my god.
Let's say 13 years, right? Something like that. I'm like trying to really think on it, and I'm just thinking like, since it was popping off with like 1, 2, and then I played a bit of 3, and then that was it. So whenever that was, I played for the first time last night, and I was like, it brought me back. I was having a blast, and I am now convinced. I want to basically, I have a modded Wii, so I'm thinking about just loading it up on there. That way I can just load up songs on all of that. And I think I can get the equipment really cheap because out of any system, we had the most in terms of just sales. And so I'm assuming it'd be a lot cheaper to find like a drum set on Wii compared to other systems. I don't know.
No, they're
be
still
careful, dude. Those prices have gone up.
Yeah.
Now,
Like crazy.
the board or like, do you think what system?
No,
I'm trying to figure out what
because
system to go for.
Probably the 360, I would think.
I would think so too.
360, because the 360 equipment, like, I feel like that game sold the most on probably the 360 at the time. Because my thing is, I have my PlayStation 3, and just a guitar with a dongle for the PS3 you're looking at about 75 to 100 in decent shape. That's not even like mint condition or without scuffs or Now I did get lucky because I have Rock Band 4 for the PlayStation 4 and found a PS4 guitar at Game Exchange here locally for $25.
That's a steal.
But what's crazy is they had it labeled as a Guitar Hero guitar instead of Rock Band guitar. So I think that's why it was so much cheaper. But then when I asked the lady, I'm like, is this $25, right? And she was like, yeah. Then I bought it and immediately left. I go online and it was easily like $100.
Oh yeah.
And
I don't know. I'm not sure why these prices skyrocketed, but
because the manufacturer of them, they disbanded in 2016.
Oh.
So Mad Catz used to make them in 2016, and then they haven't made instruments since.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
I'm looking 360 drum sets are like $60 to 80, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
And that's just the drums, much less the rest of the stuff. So I don't know what I'm gonna
That's
do.
actually a lot cheaper than what I would think of the drums, honestly.
You can use any USB microphone for a mic.
Okay, cool.
It doesn't have to be a specific Rock Band.
Oh, gotcha.
So as long as it's a USB, well, on the PlayStation anyway. I know on my PS3 I can plug in any USB and it'll work. But yeah, the instruments are just. Mine were destroyed in the hurricane, unfortunately. So, and mine were mint condition. I didn't really, use it, beat them up. Like some of these people had 20 broken foot pedals for the drums. Like I didn't really use my instruments that much. The only thing that hurt my feelings the most was I had the Beatles Rock Band guitar.
Oh.
And that was in the bottom hallway. And when the apartment got flooded, I don't even know where it went. So.
Oh man.
Dude, I remember.
I think Tim, look up the Beatles Rock Band for PS3 and tell me how much the set is.
Oh, don't do this. Don't hurt the man like this.
I'm a guess
I want to know how much, because I had the drums. I had the Beatles Rock Band drums because they were different. The set it was the same drums that came with Rock Band, but it had a special Beatles.
Gotcha.
Drum set is 120.
Oh, okay.
Dang.
I remember those cymbals you could buy for the drums. I bought those at one point too, so you could have them up.
So last night, that's what I was playing with. They said they bought it for $300, so they could have
the keyboard. The keyboard was cheap
and it's
because
not
nobody.
Like I'm like, dang! At that point, I would just buy a real drum set. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but man, do I want to play it? Anyway.
I'll check my local game store here, my game exchange here, and be like, "Do y'all have any drums that are mislabeled? Maybe." Like,
dude, I'm looking at the sold items right now for like the full bundle of the Beatles Rock Band, and it's like $300 to $400.
I know.
Yeah,
for like the
I
full
said just the
equipment set.
drums were 120, so I can only imagine everything.
That's crazy.
My heart, my soul.
I'm sorry, bro. It's a heartbreaker.
Dang.
Anyway, I definitely want to bring that back however I can, because all my friends are talking about it. Totally, like, because I brought it up, and then now it's just been a thing of like, yes, let's please do this, and it would be awesome.
Dude, I think it's something with like our generation, because like maybe every, I would say like 2 years, my fiance and I will just be cruising around town or something, and we'll just start humming one of the Guitar Hero songs, and then she played on controller, I played on guitar, and then we would just be talking about like, oh man, remember when this song? Remember, did you ever play this song? And then we'll go home. We went to a GameStop and bought like 4 Guitar Hero games and guitars like 5 years ago. No, it was even longer than that. It was like 8 years ago, because that happened to us, and it keeps happening like every other year, where we just talk about Guitar Hero and then we go home and we play Guitar Hero for like 3 hours.
And I think we can all attest that we've probably discovered new bands and music from those games.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, a lot of some of the bands in high school that I've listened to, I actually found playing Madden. And NBA, because that's back when they had good soundtracks on those games. Like, man, for a friend, I found that on Madden. Who would have known?
Dude, who the hell knew Dragon Force before Guitar Hero 3? I mean, I'm sure some people did.
Exactly.
The mass majority of people probably had no clue who they even were.
Anyway, all right. Let's get a new game watch and get out of here. Really short list here. Actually, this is one, again, I do want to play. Anyway, Harmony, The Fall of Reverie, Switch and PC, June 8th. It's coming to the other platforms a little later. Again, this is that Don't Nod's new game.
Yes, that does look cool.
It does look cool. MotoGP 23, all platforms, June 8th. And Dordange? I don't know how to pronounce that.
You got me, man.
All platforms, June 13th. And that's about it.
Right.
All the great stuff of like Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4, Tears of the Kingdom, that all dropped. So, we're in a bit of a lull.
Don't forget, We Love Katamari just dropped too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I mean, it's not a bad game. It's a good
$30 whole dollars. Like, $30 whole bucks,
Well,
and System Shock remake. Don't forget that.
Oh, snap. No, I did. You really should. Like, I am going to get around to play that.
I am going to get around to playing that.
That demo was it sold me. I never played it. And
I wish if games would do more demos like they did back in the day, because, man.
Well,
doing one.
Thanks for joining us, boys, on this 100, episode 100.
Yeah. Congrats again, boys. Happy that you had me on.
It feels weird. It feels like it was just yesterday when I did the...
It's pretty cool these days to stick with something this long. It's kind of hard to do that these days.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the only thing.
yeah. Up until like a week ago, we hadn't missed one episode, and it was just like everything was against us that made it finally happen where we missed one episode.
Yeah. I need to get a couple of T-shirts again, because mine are
re-up.
Attaboy.
Yeah,
Attaboy.
they're pretty rough.
No, yeah. I'll send you a link. Basically, you'll just be buying at the price of the website alone, because I already have everything pre-set up. So just send me the money and I'll send you the shirt, kind of deal. So that'll be easy.
They're great because they're great work shirts, because they have to do with gaming, so they're totally allowed, and I'm totally agree with it.
Hey,
and they're purple, because purple's my favorite color, so it works.
Also, I mean, I was doing
actually.
purple and black, and they both looked really good going between the two. I'm trying to decide. Like, I might just order a bunch of black ones. Anyway.
Do they have a polyester as a fabric instead of cotton?
Ooh, that'd be classy.
It's gonna cost more, but if you want to pay it, I mean, I don't care.
Because I don't know who it was, but somebody sent us Dead Island 2 shirts for work. And they're 100% polyester, and man, you want to talk about like...
It's basically like, instead of 21, it's going to be like 32, 33, something like that.
Yeah, because it doesn't shrunk, it hasn't gotten stretched, nothing. It's
cool.
That's good stuff. Right.
All right.
All right, boys.
Again, yeah. Thank you guys for coming on, and
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you
happy
guys for having us,
we're
man.
here, and we're definitely
man.
gonna keep trucking along.
Yeah, a lot of. We're in the midst of a lot of great games right now. So
yes, and again, however you can share our podcast, however you can leave reviews on like, especially like iTunes, that seems to be like the pocket of those like Apple Podcasts. If you can just start throwing there, I've been seeing a lot of new shows popping up and getting a ton of traction by just people just leaving a review or even just rating it, anything like that. So it really helps and goes like a super long way. And I'm at this point to where like I feel we're finally like at the cusp of like going big, and we got a good stable foundation now. And now it's just a matter of it just getting to the audience.
Are you guys going to be watching the showcase next week? Like
I'm
live?
gonna go live. I think.
What day of the week is that?
The 11th.
Sunday.
Let me look.
Is that a Sunday?
It's a week from today at noon.
I want to go live.
Sunday,
if someone
it's
wants
Sunday,
to join me,
I might be able to. Honestly,
Okay.
let's go.
I was gonna say, I know if you guys have like an Xbox party or something, I'll hop into that because I want to hear everybody's reactions like immediately when they.
Yeah, that's a damn fine idea.
I'm free on Sunday, so.
No, for real. I already was planning on doing that anyway. So anyone hearing this YouTube channel, I will be going live as it's going live. So the Inside Bite, watch with us. It'd be great. And if any of you guys want to hop on there, I don't care. It'd be great. And,
yeah, I requested off work like 6 months ago and told my manager like she like Xbox is my main, so she's like, don't worry, it's on a Sunday, and I'm like, thank you. Yeah, and then of course September 6th, I'm unavailable. Thank you. Like those 2 days are set in stone, So
there you go.
Oh yeah.
And we'll get that Starfield 30 FPS announcement.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you guys till next week.
Later, guys. Take care.
Y'all have a good one. Take care.
Later.